Kenny was gonna try to call in tonight for. You gonna run? Hey, boy, I told him about you run around like you in church.
Man, I got dude coming on at 8. It's a turn, but other than that, we kind of flow. I got a couple things I'm gonna talk about.
He said, "What's up, man? What's up? You don't care like he in church, boy."
Hey,
well, I'm talking about. Hey, I'm talking about Brother Calhoun, boy.
Well, you got that crazy.
He did, bro. That's your funny.
Hey.
Good evening. We have a special, a very, very special broadcast tonight. Tonight we're going from 6:30 to 9 tonight. Oh, there you go.
I mean, you got to ride out.
Yeah, we are doing a combo tonight. This is the first time we ever done it. This is going to close out our new year tonight. I got my brother here. I got my brother. I'm talking about Duval, bro. I'm talking about somebody who been knowing me from diapers.
Literally.
I mean, I'm not talking about.
Go to the store for his mom and get him for him. So y'all call in with that. So you stay on time. That's what you do.
Yes, sir. My brother Joaquin Thompson singing tonight. We got him on tonight. I mean, we definitely got a powerful show tonight. And I've been wanting to do this for a while anyway. We had kind of flirted with it the last time, about a couple months back, and we wanted to do something a little special for both our fans and try to do this collab over saying that we both from Jacksonville and that we wanted to do something that was going to be a little bit unique and something that maybe start a little trend here that we'll start, doing a couple combos with some of these shows to try to get more feedback from the audience in a whole. But tonight we got some. I got he's the financial guru. But I was just messing with him. I'm just letting y'all know. If y'all hear me say Brother Calhoun, he started laughing.
I'm not fooling with y'all. I don't know what kind of show y'all be running, but I'm not gonna start with y'all today.
Hey, boy, I
don't know. You might need to give out the ground rules for yourself because I don't know what y'all doing spiritual talk. So we don't get it mixed up. You know what I'm saying?
I just want to let you know.
Man, set some ground rules. Set some ground rules. Hey man, don't play that. You play that intro, boy. They got to start clapping. I need some clapping spiritual talk. We start playing that intro. Man, play that intro music, man. That's what we're going to do in 2018. Get you a spiritual talk. We got to get you in right, bro.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, man.
I ain't fooling with y'all tonight.
Oh, man.
I'm not fooling with y'all, man.
This is a treat for me because I tell you, this is a very good treat.
Come on, man.
This is going to be a treat for you and everybody else. There you go.
Hey, man, turn it up.
Yeah, there you go. There you go, Brother Calhoun.
Turn it up. Hey, man, let them go hear what it is, man.
Don't run, Brother Calhoun, run.
Don't run. We represent everybody. Got their dude. I don't know if spiritual talk. Y'all loose. Y'all got to loosen up spiritual talk.
Hey, boy, I tell you.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all got to loosen up.
Oh, my goodness.
Y'all got to loosen up over there. We're doing a combined show. Right?
All right. I want to.
It's Frank Hampton meets Jerome Brown. I'm Frank Hampton, and this is Jerome Brown. Oh, you want to be Harold Gibson?
Oh, my, no, that's Harold Gibson. Oh, no.
Sure, who you want to be, man? Who you want to be? Hands Towns? Who you want to be? Sure.
Oh, man, boy, we having a good time tonight.
Yes, sir.
It is wonderful. It is wonderful just to be here with my brother.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, I got a question for you.
Uh-huh.
Since you are, so I got my fans who, there's something that hear you and something don't hear you.
Right.
I want you to explain to them what your show is about, and I say that because I think that right now they're seeing that the Christmas season is pretty much over.
Ooh, why you must be reading? Wait a minute, You can't be cheating on my paper.
I know the pockets, boy. I know they lied, brother.
Man, go ahead. Let me pace myself.
I want you to like introduce yourself to my people. I want to say.
Okay.
I let them know exactly what it is that what are you presenting and what you are offering, and what knowledge that you're giving. Because I think right now it's going to be ideal for them to have some kind of sense of direction.
For sure.
Because you got to think. We all know that it's going to be Christmas again in about 20 days when this tax season starts.
Ooh.
And then we know we got to be wise about our money.
Ooh.
And see, people, we got to be good stewardship. Even though God blesses you, you got to also be a good stewardship with the money that God is blessing you with.
Right.
And sometimes, we look and see why the money go through our hands so fast because we're not being obedient.
Right. I
And sometimes when God said, "Hey, I gave you this money to pay your roof," and not give the juniors and Jordans. I'm just calling it for what it is. Hey, this spiritual talk, so hey, we keep it real with this one, bro.
Hey. Okay.
And I'm saying it for a reason because I think sometimes we see that I'm providing for my kids, but in the same token, we're not actually providing the necessities of what's really needed.
Man, you need to point that on me.
Okay.
Why are you trying to hold the camera?
This boy.
You trying to hold the camera. That's better. There you go. Look, I got you on mine.
Oh, do you? Oh, okay.
We got 3 cameras. Okay. We got camera 1, camera 2, and look, camera 3.
All right, we cute with it. Okay, let's do it.
Nah, bro, it's real.
Okay.
If we gonna do it, we ain't playing with it no more, man. That's what you was just describing.
So
that's playing with it.
So I tell you, let's go ahead and scoot a
quick intro
on the fact though.
Okay, on a serious note, my name is Joaquin Thompson, Senior. My son is Joaquin Thompson Jr. He's on the broadcast as well. But on a really, really serious note, the title of my show is The Daily Bread Radio Show. Now, the Daily Bread Radio Show, just to give you a little history, the Daily Bread used to be, when I was growing up, it was a devotional. I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, as Ricky was talking about. But my grandmother used to read this devotional. It was called The Daily Bread. A little small book came. She read it religiously. But also, when I was growing up in the 70s, that was a slang term for money, which was bread, right? So people would always ask about, you got any bread? Or what's up, my brother? You got any bread? So when I was coming up with a title for the show, I was throwing around all these different titles that related to financial literacy, personal finance, and money, and with a spiritual base, not gospel so much, but a spiritual base. Right. So that's how I came up with The Daily Bread. Now, my show is really about personal finance, financial literacy from a spiritual base, right? And the reason I say from a spiritual base, because many times people get caught up in religion.
Come on.
Right? So I don't want you to get caught up in religion, because one of the things that we do, and I talk about on my show, is I have a phrase that says, you really want to get to the point where you can stop being the entree. And what I mean by being the entree is if you don't take the time to understand this game that we're in called personal finance or financial literacy, then you become the entree. Somebody's eating literally off of you, right? So when we're not being, to your point, when we're not being good stewards, when we say, well, I have a lack in my life. Okay, you have lack. We just went through Christmas. You really didn't have an uptick in your income during the Christmas season, but you found a way to spend a certain amount of money, be it cash, credit, you put it on a personal line of credit, what have you. But now that that's 3 days removed and we're moving into 2018, my whole thing is in preparation for 2018. The way you leave a season prepares you for going into a new season. And I believe that anytime that you leave one year and you go into a new year, you're going into a new season. Right. So you can literally mark that in time from a universal standpoint to say, this time period has ended, which is 2017. So, and really my show is about talking about different topics, but at the same time, we want to make sure that I make it a safe environment. Because one thing about people and money and difficulties with money, we don't want to talk about, right? It's taboo. It's, I don't want to talk about I'm in the midst of a potential foreclosure. I don't want to talk about I'm in the midst of a potential repossession. That's why I parked the car, at my friend's house in the backyard. I don't want to talk about the fact that, I'm having, marital problems or relationship problems because of money or lack of money or my lack of stewardship thereof. So what I try to do is take all those different topics and talk about them in such a way that people feel safe in listening to the information, dialoguing about the information, making comments, and using this platform. Because one of the things that I think me and you, when we say be good stewards, me and you have to be good stewards of this platform as well. Because if you think about it, 3 years ago, we didn't even have the capacity, to even have Facebook Live or YouTube Live or Twitter to get information out to people about a certain topic. Right. So with me and you being hosts of different shows, then it's up to us to get information and disseminate it, and just, I guess you would say, elicit the feedback from our listeners and make sure that we're good stewards of the information. So everything on my show is about personal finance and improvement, right? Like once we talk about it and we get it out of our system, it's really more about learning some new strategies, thinking about some different, and I'm a big proponent of reading books. Because my theory is if the people that you're competing with are reading certain books, you should read the same books that they read, right?
Level the game.
Exactly. And it starts with what? The Bible. Right? A lot of people go to church, they have a Bible, they got multiple Bibles in the house. But do they read the Bible? Reading is one step, but reading is not bringing the information in. When you start to really disseminate the information is when you study. Right? So you remember like when you was in college and you had a certain course, you had it for a certain semester. Whether you was fond of the course or not, you had to study the concepts of the course in order to pass the course because you had a test. Right? You had to study. Right. So even if you like the course or not, like, I love geometry, but I hate organic chemistry. But you got to study. You have to study. Right. Hand in hand. But see, some things I think go hand in hand too. When you made a very, very valid point here is that, even when you read, you got to study because you got to study. Even though you read it, you got to study to obtain the information. Oh, no doubt. And when once you obtain it, then that's when, you begin to be proactive enough to start to integrate it into your life. And I say that to you because sometimes I think that what we do is that we can read something, but we actually don't sit back and actually obtain the information. Yeah, because we don't study. Right. We read it. Right. Like you just said, we read it and we'll take the headline and run off with it. Oh, we got a new tax bill. Run off and then be like, okay, well, what does it mean? Right. What's in it for me? How's it going to impact me? Take some time and study it. Right. And that's part of it. Now, you have now just been introduced to the daily bread. So from here on out, I know that I'll have no problem with my friends. I have no problem with y'all now at 8 o'clock on Thursday. I ain't going to tell Ricky y'all listen to my show. Look, I'm writing all them names up. Let me see. Faye, Ryan, Robin. Hey, y'all tune in 8 to 9 every Thursday. Y'all hear y'all don't even have to. Well, you do have to log. You have to log out of Ricky's show. Log into mine. I got it all set up. But I ain't going to tell them. Thomas, Miles, hey, y'all listen to the show. Tune in. I won't tell them y'all came over to another church. Y'all came over to to my congregation and gave. And feel free to give too. I won't tell Minister Neal you was over here giving at the congregation. So y'all welcome to come join us. We got a great congregation over here already. We got Pat on, we got my son Joaquin on. Hey, I see what you say. You all on the show talking about doing. Hey, listen. Wherever I am, look, wherever I go, wherever I may happen to go in the future, I'm always have do all with me. Oh, no doubt. I'm always have do all with me. People people talk about it's really not where you come from. It's where you end up. And I love that city because that city taught me a lot, good and bad. Taught me about race relations. It taught me about being African American. It taught me about business and lack thereof. It teaches me a lot. So I always want to give, a voice to some of the people that, still reside in the city and let them know, like, hey, ain't nothing like Duval. It's not like Duval. So I'm always keep them, on point.
Northside Sherwood, baby.
Oh, see, now you throwing up gang territories. We said Duval. We ain't going to Northside Sherwood, Northside Harborview. We ain't going to Washington Heights, Cleveland, Emerson, we ain't going to all that. Cleveland Road, Bar Creek, Kings Road. We ain't going to none of that. We just said Duval. And we're going to keep it right there. We're going to keep it simple. We ain't going to Reigns and Reebok. This Reigns right here. So I don't even allow that on myself. But tonight I'm gonna let my guard down.
Hey, boy.
I'm gonna let it, because this dude is with the Reigns. So I don't even play. Look, you see this sweater? This wasn't. Hey, this ain't no accident.
All I'm saying,
Northside,
baby.
I ain't gonna fool.
All day long
with y'all, man.
Oh, man.
I'm not messing with y'all.
This is a good one. But once again, I really want to just thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I see, look at D here. You talking about Reebok in the house? Oh,
that's what's up. That's what's up.
Oh Lord, man!
You see this sweater? This wasn't no mistake. I wear that light blue. I wear that light blue for real. You look at my wardrobe. It's more light blue in my wardrobe than anything. Socks, undergarments. Whatever, hats.
Oh, boy, I tell you, boy.
Boy, you gonna catch it. That's what's up.
Oh, man, we having a good time tonight.
That's what's up.
Just having a good time tonight. Once again, I wanted to thank anybody would like to call in, who have any comments or any, just when you want to say hello to us. 678-381-1973. Once again, 678-381-1973. That's the phone number here. We are definitely in the house tonight. The boys from Jacksonville are definitely in the house. We actually have taken over.
That's what's up.
We are definitely letting everyone know that that this is just a family thing. Like I said, this man been knowing me for all my life, and we've grown up even to the point that when he was in D.C.,
Man.
Whoo, boy, stop.
Don't even start talking about that.
We hooked up in D.C. and the things that, but like I say, once again, 678-381-1973.
Hey, somebody call in, because I feel some kind of way about that phone. Somebody just call in and let's make sure that the phone lines work. You know what I'm saying? We gonna be on it. Somebody call in, man. Let us know y'all out there. Let us know what's happening. Just call in and say boo.
Hey, I'm sick of y'all. Hang up. Just do it.
Y'all ain't live. That's right, Daryl. Let me take over this thing, man. I'm being called, but it will come out. Oh man, that's my best friend. But yeah, y'all call in. Yeah. Call in. I mean, and the good thing about this show is, just like Rick is talking about, we keep talking about that, but that's something that's the basis of going into a season. We need to fellowship more with each other, right? I mean, everybody that's on all different channels. And I had an experience with something where somebody sent me a gift, on the Facebook inbox, what have you. And I'm not one to be, so let me just apologize, because I know I see a lot of my friends and family. I'm not one of those, and I mean, apologize to you too, because I don't know if you sent me one, but I don't usually respond to those little things about, if you love, God, or you want to be blessed, send it to me first and let me know if you're my friend. Yeah. Bro, if I say you my friend, you my friend. So I don't usually send that out, but Steve Harvey sent, it was a little clip with Steve Harvey, and he was talking about, being on the right street and being in position to receive a blessing. And it touched me so much that the first thing I started doing was sending it out to people. But just when you start talking about relationships, the thing that was a trip was I'm going down my friend list, and I'm like, I'm going to send it to him, send it to her. No, I won't send it to him. I'll send it to him, her. Then I thought about it. I was like, wait a minute. everybody else here should be getting it.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of what you think, if you on this list and you say you friends, and if you don't like it, just do like I usually do. Delete, keep it moving. Not why you sending me this, or I don't believe in that. And man, I sent it to 600 people.
Wow.
Right? And what that lesson taught me was that as I was going through that list, it was some people on there that I hadn't spoken to in a long time, and I hadn't reached out to, and I hadn't thought about. But people, they always say, "Well, I got 1 million followers," and I'm like, "How many friends do you have?"
Right, true friends.
Yeah, how many friends do you have? That's what the essence of a man is. What's the true character of a man, and what's how many true friends do you have? And a true friend, for you all that don't know, true friend is when you out in the middle of nowhere. And it's at the middle of nowhere time, be it right, wrong, or indifferent, you got 1 or 2 people that you could call at any time, day or night, and they're not gonna be like, why you calling me? Or where you at, or what you out doing, and it's gonna be like, what you need, I'm on the way. That's all you want. So you got some of them I'm on the way friends. Mm-hmm. So, my thing is, and with us as a people, we need to start fellowshipping and doing more fellowship with each other, supporting each other, helping each other, and using these platforms to get stuff out, because we send a lot of stuff out that is not uplifting to us, but we spend time even creating little crazy little videos and stuff. So I'm like, man, let's send some positive stuff out so we can help some of these people.
Something like this right here,
changing our stuff.
Something like this, you'd be surprised to see us up here just fellowship and having a good time. That attracts a good vibe of people. Sometimes they need that.
Oh man, positivity is always good.
And I say that because when you laugh and have a good time, you'd be surprised how people draw to you.
Hey man, just like the thing I was just talking about. This thing touched me so much because one of the things that when you say you got a friend, it's people that are close to you that you haven't reached out to in a while. You don't know where they are right now. Mm-hmm. They could be right in the midst of like, you know what, this is it. I'm done with it. I'm ready to check out. They can have the pills in their hand, or they can have a pistol in their hand. They can have whatever. Be like, just get that one little shout out from, man, I was just thinking about you. I don't want nothing. You know what I'm saying? That might be the one thing to help them to move forward or to, get another grip on. Like, because sometimes, man, life can be unbearable, right? So, sometimes our lens is, good and happy, and we can laugh, but sometimes people just, they beat down, and they need somebody to come and just be, uplifted, so.
678-381-1973. Once again, 678.
Man, call into this radio show.
1973. We are here. We are here. This boy is so.
Man, we got to give away something. Oh, wait a minute. Man, you got to give. Wait a minute. Let me see. We got to give away something.
Hey, we got a free trip to DKM Radio.
Hey,
come sit in the studio with us.
We keep some good. Hey, no, man, no. No, I'm joking. Come on. We keep stuff. Look, we keep stuff in the studio. Look at this. I'm gonna show y'all this. This is a nice little gift to have too. Mm-hmm. This is from the Sharper Image. Look at this. And this is what we do on the financial literacy show. This is a nice little bank, and what it is, it's a digital bank. Mm-hmm. So caller number 2. So we at least get 2 people in. One for Rick, one for me. So caller number 2. 678-381-1973. Caller number 2, you're gonna win this Sharper Image digital bank. And the way this bank works is you just put change in it, and it has a digital computer on it. Yeah, right on the top. So you ain't got to count them $158 worth of coins.
I'm gonna go ahead and make a phone call.
But go ahead, call. I said caller number 2. Caller number 2, you gonna win.
I'm gonna make a phone call.
We're gonna win. But before we go too much further, because I got my guests on as well. So Rick, you need to take time out and introduce yourself to my audience, because we're doing this combined show, and they need to know what Spiritual Talk is about too. So let them know, when you're on, what you're about, what's the show about, and that way they can, they can check with me and see if they can come over and listen to the show.
They gotta get a pass. They gotta get a whole pass.
You know what I'm saying? Your people can come over, but hey, y'all. Hey,
Don't let that man sit here and do that to you. Listen, you come with free will. I'm gonna give you the Bible. Show what the Bible says. But no, honestly, what we gotta understand is that my show deals with a lot of different issues, and my issues deal from racism to finances, and I say finances because sometimes I brought Joaquin on to enlighten my guests on the financial aspect before, and it's not the first time he and I have done it, but this is the first time we've actually got together and actually collaborated together. But it was time that he's come in and a little early, and I brought him on just to get some positive feedback to my listeners as well. But to his listeners, I just want to tell you, my show deals with a lot, and I mean a lot. Like we dealt with absentee fathers, we've dealt with child molestation, we've dealt with all kind of different mental deficiencies. I want to say, such as like depression, suicide. We've dealt with we even dealt with men and prostate cancer. We're gonna do another show about that. Saying that men need to be good stewardship over their own body, and we as black men that we're definitely, and I'm a product of that because I've had 2 different procedures dealing with my prostate, and I can testify to we need to be more aware of our bodies as black men, and that's one of the things that I think that we are actually. We have talked about this before, but I'm gonna say it to your audience as well. And my audience have already know how I feel about this. But we as black men, we got to start taking more ownership of what's going on around us.
That's true,
and that's with our bodies as well. Because you got to realize that if it makes no sense for you to walk in to a doctor and he tells you got stage 4 cancer. There's no you shouldn't be doing that. Because there's some signs.
Right.
Prior to that, before you get to that stage, that's why it's called stages. So we need to be more educated about our bodies as black men, because I think that we are very ignorant to our bodies because we just feel like we can move on and we hard as rocks.
Right.
But to find out that that's not the case, because like I said, I had 2 different procedures in 1 year behind prostate, and that's one of my biggest pet peeves is that I really tell all my brothers and sisters, you need to go to the doctor. Seriously. I'm serious.
I'm not laughing, man, at you. Why are you looking at me, man?
Yeah, because you sweating over there.
I'm like,
wait a minute, you need to go to
I was thinking about the exam itself,
okay.
Man. I was like,
hey, look, I'm tell you
I know, man. I go.
Hey,
I get it. Dude, I'm a practitioner. I'm a registered nurse. I've been a registered nurse 23 years.
I got that.
So I'm supporting you.
But a lot of hard here. I'm telling you.
Oh, I know. You know we got to wait for a knot to come up. It's something.
Hey, boy.
You know, you got to have a goddamn hunt. Like that,
hey, lift in your hands. I'm like, doctor, what happened? My dog, what happened? What you mean, what happened?
Like, man, what is all this build up?
Is that pus?
Oh my goodness, boy.
But it's the truth because
it's true, man.
We really got to be. I mean, being a good stewardship is not. We think about it from a financial perspective, but you got to really truly think about your body. I'm telling you something good. Because you're not gonna stick around here to even deal with your finances if your body broke down.
Right.
Once your body betray you,
that's it.
It's
lights out. And I mean, even though we're joking about it, that's one of the things with me being in that field, being a registered nurse, that is something that I have seen firsthand is when we say good stewards, we have to stop being the leading, I guess you would say, segment in all these different categories. Heart disease, prostate cancer, high blood pressure, I mean, depression, I mean, everything across the board. When you start looking at different statistics from a health standpoint, then we tend to lead those segmentations. Black men first, and then the Black woman. And a lot of it is tied into, our diet and exercise and things of that nature. So again, we can't stress that enough. And that was one of the things that I had written down to talk about today, which is the number one rule, the first rule in getting ready for 2018, if you're not already doing is to go back and reflect on your diet and your exercise regimen.
No doubt.
So you don't have to be, doing a whole lot of bench pressing and things, but you at least got to get out and walk.
Yeah.
And that's number, one of the first things that everybody can walk. I mean, for the most part. And then the other thing you got to do is learn how to push back,
right.
For the table. Right. You can at least do that too, and start pushing back and stop getting two, as they say, two heapings and go down to one heaping. If you just do one heaping for 30 days, then you good. I mean, for the most part, you can get in the habit of being
now you can be like when I took somebody over to Planet Fitness when I first I had my surgery. Them jokers trying to lift the building.
Putting on 8 plates.
Right, bro.
And then he done popped out something.
Hey, that joker walked around and
got a big old vessel on his head.
Hey, that joker chucked every weight in there. I said, bro.
Hey, bro, we ain't here for that.
Hey, bro. I kept waving, bro. I kept trying to wave him up. Hey, bro, come on back over here. Man, I was trying to tell you, I was trying to lift the building. Like, man, my arms hurting. You think?
Yeah, man. Them days over. Just walk, bro. Just get on the treadmill and start walking.
I was chilling.
Put on your headphones.
But that's everything in moderation as well. But we really truly got to realize, because that's one of the things in 118, 18, I really want to stress a lot of, it's going to be on my show, is good health. We got to have good health.
I mean, that's the cornerstone, because, without it, and
you can't go to work, you can't do nothing.
And I have, a very good example in our family is our matriarch, my mother-in-law. She's 82.
Mm-hmm.
Like 82. And she follows a nice, strict diet, what's good for her.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell you, this young lady lives in New York City and goes everywhere, every borough, every train, every subway station, she's up and down the stairs. She's 82. And every time I talk to her, she said the same thing. She's like, I don't want to be sitting in no car. I don't want to be sitting around. I want to be walking. She doesn't belong to a gym, but she's told me that over the last, I know, at least 30 years. Like, this is what you need to be active, and you need to watch what you eat, right? And like I said, she doesn't follow a strict diet, but she doesn't, very rarely has salt, very rarely eats red meat. And like I said, I want to be 82 because I don't want nobody pushing me around.
That's what I'm saying. We just closed my mother out at 70. You got to think she just had her 70 in July. I mean, which is a milestone. You got to think that we have to really and truly take control. Once we take control of our health, you will see a lot of things start opening up for you in a lot of ways. Because you got to think, once your health is up to par, your mind even sharper.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think all that plays a part.
Man.
So.
You ain't come up with no discovery, Doc. You ain't going to win no praise. Like, you ain't about to win no award.
I'm trying to get your.
Man, you ain't trying to do nothing with my audience. My audience already, if they don't know that, you trying to talk.
They used to this.
Bro.
I'm introducing.
Bro, you don't win no prize. But if you work out, you think.
I'm introducing, bro. Hey, look, I'm introducing.
Man, okay, all right.
Hey, boy, don't shout all day long, baby. That's all I can say.
All right, I got you.
No shout all day long.
I'm not hazing. All right, you
I'm
right.
just introducing. That's all I'm doing. I'm just introducing.
Okay, bro, you right.
But once again, if I was rudely interrupted, I know how you. Yo, God. Hey,
go ahead.
Hey, boy. Hey, Brother Calhoun, boy. I'm gonna tape it one day. I'm gonna send it to his tape. I'm gonna send it right to his page. Here, look at it run, y'all.
I'm not even gonna fool with y'all today. Okay.
But once again,
so if you work out, you said you could think better, right?
Yeah, because your mind is fresh. Because you get good sleep. All that goes hand in hand. And the reason why I know that, because once I went through my ordeal, that was one of the things the doctor told me. He was like, look, once you change your diet and once you start doing something that it's going to be a little bit more, I want to say, more productive for your body.
Right.
Then everything started falling in place. Because sometimes when you're tired, you can't think.
Right.
And sometimes that comes with the diet as well.
And stress.
And a lot. So you got to think, you got to think working out is a stress reliever.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
And once after you work out, then, you feel better, you rest, the mind is sharper, you sharper, then, hey, you can get ready for the next day. And then, hey, there you have it. So, those are the things that we really, truly have to start looking at, because we're at a point right now that we're getting older, not younger. So we gotta, man, what else? Man, what else?
Go ahead.
But man, what else, man? But we really got to start actually thinking about those things. This guy, right? See, what is joke right here, boy?
Go ahead, man.
Hey, man, you know what? I'm cutting this off. Put the plug, man. Hey, Leroy, put the plug. Leroy, put the plug.
I can't help it, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be serious.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Go ahead,
No,
man.
you're not.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna be quiet on my own show.
You got it, Rick. You're doing it, man. You're doing it. But that's real. I mean, but all of that, we laughing about it, but it's real. Like I said, I've been a nurse, and one of the things that we haven't talked about, which is also like research has shown that, is having the ability to laugh.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like literally people have taken and done research and studies and looked at that, and people who, you know, have the ability to really just laugh, get rid of that stress, like we talked about, that right there has effects on things like your arteries, the hardening of your arteries, your cholesterol levels, your blood pressure. So like you're saying, the exercise is very, very important. And that's why you see, if you look at different cultures, like the Eastern culture, right? Like you look in China, Japan, the Asian population, when they first get up, first thing they start doing is some Tai Chi, or they stretching, or they, you know, doing these different movements. They don't have to run a marathon, or like you were saying, lifting all the weights in the world, but they really take the time to invest in their body and being active and staying active, right? Just doing that becomes a part of who they are and what they do. So that's something that we have to do too, as opposed to being sedentary.
About 3 more months, the weather's gonna break again. Yeah. And then that'll be ideal for people to start. I mean, I know once the time changes and things of that nature. And you'll be able to do more. I know right now that everybody's gonna be on that hustle and bustle trying to get back, because once we get back to the first year, you know, that first couple of months, that's gonna be rough for everybody. It's like a snapback. But once you get to that point and get in that groove.
But that's what we said we was gonna do this show about. So real talk, we as a people, we got to get away from that, right? Because what we start doing is we start giving each other passes on stuff. Like you just said, say, hey, you went through a health challenge. This is what the physician told you to do. You need to do this. Now, if somebody came in and said somebody was giving away a PlayStation down at the mall, or somebody was giving away clothes or jewelry or something else, we would make a way. Right. We would find a way. So even if you're in your house, or even if you got to work, we need to start carving out some time to do the things that's important to us, because all of that feeds into your financial situation, right? Because while we saying, hey, in a few months it'll be warm again, you could come out. Trust me, it's people already out here calculating how much we're going to spend January 1st. How much we gonna be spending for Valentine's Day? How much we gonna spend for crazy holidays like St. Patrick's Day? Like alcohol. What that got to do with
all the alcohol? Yeah.
What, Cinco de Mayo?
Yeah, all the alcohol.
I'm like, but there's people out there that's already planning for it, and they already planning for next Christmas. They already planning for next Christmas based on the data that they're pulling off of what we did this year. So, you know, my thing is, as we prepare for 2018, take some time out, reflect on the things that you did in 2017. Just do a reflection. Don't do a right or wrong, or good or bad. Just reflect on what you did last year, or as we're ending this year, still this year, really. Just do a reflection on it and say, okay, if my health wasn't where it's supposed to be, or my diet wasn't where it's supposed to be, start practicing today. Start getting in the habit today before you get to 2018. And don't do no New Year's resolution, none of that. Do something that's going to help you to start becoming habit forming.
Well, we got to be a realistic goal. That's the thing. Yeah. Sometimes I think that we reach now. I mean, I understand about that. We all need to reach for the top. I got that.
Right.
But at the same token, I think that we need to realize that we have to look at our limitations and what we can and what we can't do, and just start there. Once you start there, and then you move. It's like a tier. It's like we're talking about stages.
Right.
Then you go up stage, and I think that's the reason why a lot of people get discouraged when they like one of the jokes I hear them say in the gym. I was in the gym this week. One of the jokes I hear is like, yeah, next week gonna be real full because it's gonna be
packed.
And I was thinking about it, I was like, I hear them talking, but and realistically, they not. It's a joke. It's a running joke, but it's not a joke. And what I'm saying is that what happens a lot of times is that we going home for about 30 days.
But to your point, that's the whole thing is, see, when you create a goal, right? You have to create the goal for you.
Right.
What's best for you, right? So if me and you go to the gym, if you go throwing 325, I don't even throw on 325. Matter of fact, I ain't even gonna throw on. Hey. I'm not even gonna throw on 100. I'm gonna throw on 2 of them little 25 pounds and just press that out. And in my mind, I'm gonna be like,
I thought that boy was about to take off his shirt. Well, I was saying, bro. Hey, look at him.
But you can go in the gym and you could again get in the pool.
Yeah.
You see a lot of older people in the pool, right?
That's cardio. That's strength of your legs. That does everything.
So get in the pool.
Yeah, it does everything.
So that's what I'm saying that to say we don't have to set the goal for you and set the goal low enough, because the way the psychology works when you set goals is this: don't set the goal too high, right? You have what's known as a stretch goal, right? I get that one, but for the next 30 days, just having the habit of getting up going.
Yeah, that should be the goal.
That's your goal. Yeah. My goal is just to be in the environment. So I'm gonna get up, put on my workout outfit, or I'm gonna take my bag with me, and I'm gonna go to the gym. Now, what I'm gonna do when I get, I might not do nothing when I get there, right? I might get there, like get on a couple machines and get out. But the fact of me getting in the habit of going on a regular basis after about 3 weeks, okay, now I'm gonna add on to that. Now I'm getting to start cardio. Now I'm gonna start something, physical, weightlifting or whatever. But the first thing you got to do is go, right? Yeah. And that's the biggest thing is, and that, to your point, that's what people get turned off, because then it's like, oh, I ain't gonna go because I'm too busy, But if you go and somebody tell you like, look, you either gonna do this or in a year or two, you're gonna be dead.
That's what was told to me. That was on the table.
So then you got to change.
That's the reason why, excuse me, to my point, is that I really, truly, I am a big component of men, really, and the reason why I say that, because I suffered through it.
Right.
And I know, and the last time I had it, I really went down. A couple of weeks went down. And it really blew my mind.
Right.
That this can really happen. And it was told to me, hey, either you do this or you go to chemo. And we know once you go to chemo, then all bets are off, because it opens up your body and to a lot of different elements.
Yep.
And that's the reason why I said, that's the first thing that came to my head. Like, no, that's not going to happen.
Right.
So that's one of the things that I truly believe, that we have to be better stewardship over our bodies, because it's very important, because your health. I mean, I hear people say, oh, I don't eat no fried food. Well, I don't eat pork. Well, I don't eat this. But you eat a whole bunch of rice. You eat a whole bunch of pasta. You eat a whole bunch of bread.
Plus, you ain't working out.
Right, exactly. Then you still packing it on. So I'm like, it doesn't
like fat out. What you don't eat? You eating something?
You lose no weight.
You eating something? You got your neck. You got a 20th neck. You doing something, right? Like, what you gonna eat? You eating something?
Yeah, you more than something. You eating a whole lot of something.
Every time you come over here, stress on my furniture. You doing something? Shoes don't fit, ankles fat. So I mean,
but that's the key.
Yeah, man, we just got to do better.
We got to do better. I mean, once I said we got to do better. That's funny though. That is funny. 678-381-1973. Once again, 678-381-1973. We'll be here till 9 o'clock tonight.
And everything going good. And at the top of the hour, at 8 o'clock, I have a brother that's going to come on, Melvin Burrow. He's an attorney. He's a tax attorney, and he's going to come on and talk about a couple of different topics. One, we're going to pick his brain a little bit about the new tax law that was just signed by the president. A lot of different swirl with that. A lot of commentary that's coming out. What is it good? Is it bad? Who is it going to benefit? You know, what things are going away? Is certain things that are going away. I was looking at CNBC earlier today, and in certain states like New York, where you have like these exorbitant, property taxes and things of that nature, you got people that are prepaying their 2018 property tax because some of those deductions are going to be going away.
Yeah, I saw that.
So there's some other key deductions in there that, are going to go away. People not talking about it, but that's one of the things that he's going to come on. He's going to give us just a little insight, because right now it's still, it's so many changes to it, and it's so large that everybody doesn't know everything about it. But, we always say it'll be good for you to consult someone that does that on a daily basis. Right. This is how he, this is his gifting, I guess you would say. So we're going to have him on it from 8 to 8:30, and he's going to talk to us about, taxes. And he's going to talk to us about business too, because one of the things in 2018 that we've been talking about on the Daily Bread Radio Show is that within the next 12 months, everybody needs to write at least one book. And if you say, well, I don't have a book to write, then tell your story. If you just write your story, you're going to have the ability to create one book and then create one business. And creating one business doesn't mean that you have to go out and find something and start it. I mean, you could join a business, Mary Kay, or you could, join something else, Herbalife, something, but you need to have something outside of your 9 to 5 that you can create revenue, additional revenue, to help you out in other areas of your life and not be totally dependent on your 9 to 5. Yeah. So get something, and it'll also help you out from a tax standpoint. So, and like you mentioned earlier, we're getting older. And I know a lot of people in my generation and in yours are starting to prepare for retirement. Right. So part of your strategy for planning for retirement is you need to have something in place that you can get into, do benefit from, and you're not totally reliant on, your 9 to 5 to say, okay, you can get some overtime, or we're going to give you a raise. But when you can go out and start your business and be real strategic about it.
That's the thing about it. We get into the fourth quarter now.
Oh yeah.
And we got to really truly think about what plays we gonna call for ourselves. Yeah. And I look like this. We gotta win. It's not that you have to. You gotta win.
Yeah.
You have to win, because if you don't, you gotta think about what you're leaving behind.
Right. And we talk about legacy all the time on our show, and I think, and not just from a family legacy standpoint, but how we're gonna help our people over a period of time. Right. Because a lot of and one of the things that I did leave out, one of the reasons that I started this show, and it's one thing that I've seen no matter where I go. When I come and listen to you, when you preach, and I come and listen to you, if I go to a mega church, if I go to a Baptist church, non-denominational, if I'm watching something on TV, it's this one thing, and that is when the ministers are really giving, a good sermon, and then they start talking about having a breakthrough, and they say, well, I've seen this year, God has spoken to me and said, you're going to have a financial breakthrough. People go crazy, because it's so many people that are in need for a breakthrough. But then what happens is, when the sermon is over and that particular service is over, and you get to the parking lot, you get in the car, you close the door, you get home, you walk into the house. Now what?
But see, the thing about it, though, what has to happen, though, and this is something that I'm a big component of this, is sometimes you got to make your own way.
No doubt.
And I say that to you because, me all my life, like we growing up, preacher would never came across the table to none of us about me.
Right.
Even for myself, and I tell people all the time, excuse me, and I say that because I think that somewhere down the line, you got to make a way. You got to be in, like you said, you got to be in, and you got to be at a point where, even to the point where God had to use me. I had to be in that section for Him to say, "Come here, I need to talk to you."
Right.
I need to call you, just like it is with your show. Hey, King, look, I got to come here. You got to be at a certain point for God to say, "Hey, I need for you to spread this financial illiteracy to our people."
Right.
Because they are not only are they failing, but they are drowning.
Right.
in debt. They're drowning in a lot of the things that society is now bombarding them with, to the point that now they're looking at, they feel like they're being cheated.
Right.
And we have to realize that that's the same thing it is about preaching. You can't just give people a hallelujah sermon and think that's going to be it, because you know what? The aftermath.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I tell people all the time, people all ask me and say, well, Neal, when you preach, what do you do? I say, I don't really get involved in the prosperity side of it.
Right.
And it's not that I don't like it. It's not that I don't believe in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that sometimes that's not where that's not where
you would live.
Right. That's not where I'm effective at. Right. I'm effective at talking, just like you talk to people about the literacy side of it, of the finances. I can talk to you and say, hey, look here, I can tie what you're saying in to what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. And
it's nothing. Just like we were talking about good stewardship. That's the Bible.
Right.
But we can talk about the body. And people think it's about when you hear people convey to the congregation about the stewardship, is all about the finances.
Right.
But they never address the body. But see, they don't start. It go hands in hand.
Yeah, and see, and that was my whole thing is this though, and this is just my belief. This is what I believe, right? Whenever you minister, pastor, whoever is given the authority over a group of people, it could even be a school teacher, right. It could be the principal, whoever's the leader of the company. Now, when I look at church, see, one thing about church is, the number one rule is salvation, right? So I understand that. So everybody's going in for salvation. Right. A lot of ministers now saying, well, hey, I don't really, and I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the body at this point, right? So the body don't want to talk about something that everybody is tied to, which is finances, right? So most times people are hearing, and while a lot of people get turned off is people, or a lot of ministers stress all the different scriptures that's tied to tithing. Right. And why you need to tithe, and you're not going to steal from God, and you're not. So people get turned off by that because they like, man, but my thing is this: if you're going to talk about that tithing and all the different scriptures that's related to tithing, there are a lot of scriptures in the Bible related to money, right? So in order for you to feed a person, it's just like in healthcare. When we reach out to people to talk to them about diabetes, or what we were just talking about, prostate, if I'm dealing with a person that's in depression and I call them and start talking about diabetes, they don't even hear me. No. Right? Because I haven't met their need. Right. So I'm saying all that to say, if you're gonna have a large congregation of people, or you're gonna be leading people, you need to give them tools and give them provision to get out of their situation. They need to be productive. Right? So, a lot of people, they like Financial Peace University, Dave Ramsey. I've been through that. Great course. I think Dave Ramsey, he does a phenomenal job in what he does. But at the same time, he's not of us. He's not of he's not of the tribe that I come from. Right. So he don't know about, growing up and making jokes about the lights being on or off. He don't know about, the sandwiches with no meat. He don't know about sugar water. He's from another tribe. And the tribe that he's from, to me, they're not in the type of peril that we in. Right. So, my whole thing is, like, the second phase of my show is, I've been doing this show it'll be a year in February. The next phase is just to really put the full court press on a lot of different people that are in the ministry that have these congregations to say, hey, we need to collectively come together and start disseminating this information, simple steps on things you need to do in order to change the trajectory, even if it's not for you, for the next generation, right? Because if I'm teaching you certain skills and you're not passing it on to your offspring, now you age, and you say, oh, we're in the fourth quarter, okay. But if I don't teach it to my offspring, right? Yeah, they can't get. What's going to happen in the next generation? They can't get in the game, right? Because Donald Trump's son, and we talked about this a few weeks ago on my show. Donald Trump's son, his youngest son, is like 12 years old. his youngest son, his youngest son's name is Baron.
Mm.
Now his son is being exposed to some stuff that our kids not being exposed to, right? At 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So how is my 7-year-old grandson gonna be able to compete with his grandson if I don't put some things in place for him to at least have some access to some things that we need to have access to?
Level the playing ground.
Oh yeah. So I mean, I get the salvation, but I mean at the same time,
I think
you got to give the people food in order for them to better themselves holistically.
But that's when it becomes about you got to get the whole counsel of God.
Yeah.
And that's where that comes in. See, people think, and I think sometimes people get they get it misconstrued when they think it's about getting it from a point that it's like, okay, well, I'm only talking about this part of the Bible and not this part of the Bible. But you understand something that when you're dealing with people in general, it's times that like I'm in the barbershop. I might not say a scripture the whole time. The reason why? Because they're talking to me as a man.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have to be able to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't understand it because what happens a lot of times, we're too busy trying to dictate to them how they're supposed to perceive what we're saying. Sometimes I'll put like this here. Instead of you trying to live a message, listen to the message being said.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't like what you said makes a lot of sense that more preachers should have a not even a class, but have some time set aside. Say, hey, I'm bringing this brother in.
Mm-hmm.
I got a brother in my congregation. They have the resources in the congregation a lot of times.
Oh yeah.
But what they'll do is that they won't even allow the resources to be used. And a lot of times because they feel like they feel like, oh, he trying to take my job, and I've heard that a lot, and it's insulting to the people they're trying to help.
But that's what I'm saying. Everywhere that I go, everywhere that I've been, and that's why I said from with you,
Mm-hmm.
I've been to see you preach.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to my own church.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a church. I've been to other churches. When people, and if it wasn't a need,
Mm-hmm.
right? If it wasn't such a big need,
Mm-hmm.
when they touched on that topic, you wouldn't have that type of sensitivity to it. Right? It's like when you hear somebody say you strike a nerve. See, there's certain things that people can say to you, it's not gonna move you.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, well, I get it. Oh yeah, that sounds good. Oh yeah, I need a blessing. Oh yeah. But when somebody step on that pinky toe, right? Or you stomp on it,
you can win Delarisa.
right?
Yeah.
So then at that point, you like, and that energy, the way it goes so high. So my whole thing was like, if you could see that that's what's going on within your flock, then you have an obligation to speak to that.
Now you have a duty. Let me say you have a duty.
Okay, that's even better.
It's a duty because you gotta think if we refer back to the scripture, what it said, Jeremiah 23:1 said, "Warn to the pastor to cause the sheep to scatter." That means that's your job. As the pastor said, "Look, I got a brother sitting right here that can help. Y'all say y'all been having issues with your finances. I got a brother sitting right here. I got a brother Joaquin Thompson sitting right here. That I would talk to him and see if he don't mind giving us a class monthly or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
And even if it's not me, my whole thing is this: I wanted to be somebody again that's of our tribe. Right. Don't keep promoting. And I see the same thing with Oprah. Like on OWN, she's gonna do something on financial literacy. But instead of bringing on Michelle Singletary or Kelvin Boston, people who are African Americans is working in that space, we jump straight to Susie Orman. Yeah. And I'm like, bro, Susie Orman don't know nothing about no. I mean, women. You know, they don't know about the way that
how we function.
How we function from a financial standpoint. They're giving you high level and they're giving you outlines, and it'll work for any. It'll work. But at the same time, don't talk to me. It's like what I always said when I first started doing this. If you on drugs, mm-hmm. or if you a drug addict, mm-hmm. I don't want to talk to no counselor. That's just me. I don't want to talk to the counselor. Right. I want to talk to the person that's been on the drugs, mm-hmm. that came through the drugs, that overcame the drugs, mm-hmm. And what did you have to do? So that way you could tell me, nah, it's going to be some nights. You're going to think you're going to die. It's going to be some days that you're going to think this, but you do that.
Right.
Or you do this. Don't tell me about what was in the book. Don't tell me about no theory and what the research. Nah, forget that. I want to know from another junkie.
Because that's the only way, but that's the only way that you really and truly are going to, you know, it's authentic.
That's what and that's it.
And what happens a lot of time, I think that the information that the people are getting is so diluted because this is the saying that I always have. I said, you stepped out of Ephesians and went to opinions. Everything to me, it comes to be an opinion to me and not what is actual facts. It's like it is. Okay, the point when I play football, like people can't say, well, you can't do it. Yes, I can because I played. I'm talking about literally, I played to the highest level that I can go. So it's not like I went somewhere and I just dropped down. Now, I ain't talking about no sandlot. I'm literally, I was, and you saw me grow up. You know, I was highly recruited.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So it wasn't like I'm just talking. So I could tell the person, hey man, you need to get your T's first. You need to get them SATs first before you talk to any college. Trust me. If you don't get them this time of the year, if you don't have your SATs by January, they're not going to talk to you no more.
Right.
They going to tell you, you know what? Hey, you know what? I appreciate you. But look, I'm going to go get buddy over here who was in compliance. And he could be a 3-star. You could be a 5-star. That's why a lot of 5-star go to JUCO. Because they're not in compliance. Right. Because they have nobody in place to tell them, hey, bro, you need to start getting them T's last year. You need to be taking that. You got 6 times to take the SAT in a year, yearly. So you telling me in that 6 times, somebody up and down, somebody gonna get you a 700, and that's what your goal should be. So when you get to your senior, you should be on cruise control. Right. That's why a lot of you see now the biggest thing is that the early sign-ins because those guys they got people in place that are pushing them how to even deal with that system. Right. And that's the thing. We are too busy trying to tell people, oh, you were great. You the best thing since pockets. But yeah, but that's fine. But what happens when the pocket get a hole in it?
I've been doing good. I ain't.
But it's the truth. It's just, those are the things that when we are speaking to these people from the finances, even from a spiritual perspective, you got to realize that this is important. This is people's lives that we're dealing with.
And my whole thing is this, Rick. For people who go back and again, when we say study, when you go back and study the different leaders that we've had and what they were focused on, what they were about, like Martin Luther King, you go back and read through his speeches, they cut them up in such a way where they cut them up so that way that it's palatable to everybody, so everybody can tolerate the I Have a Dream speech, right? Or any of his, or the letter from the Birmingham jail. But if you take the time and go back and read the entire speech, right? His whole speech, his nonviolence, that's what they pushed everybody, which is true, you know, from the teachings he had with Gandhi, and, you know, I get that. But another big proponent of Martin Luther King's preaching was economics.
Finance, yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
He was talking about economics. That's why when they was trying to get people's attention in Montgomery, what did they do?
Hit the finances.
Montgomery bus boycott. Where does that come from? That's economics.
Finances.
Right? So when he did that, all that talking they was doing, they was like, yeah, whatever. But they were waving us. Oh man, shut up, whatever, man. He coming. Oh, whatever. But as soon as he put the brakes on that Montgomery bus boycott, and when he first did that, they were like, oh, they ain't gonna do nothing. They ain't gonna whatever. But when they start seeing us come together as a group and collectively stop utilizing something that they depended on to generate a certain amount of revenue, and that's in the city of Montgomery. Then that's when they came back. Okay, now what you say? What you want to talk about?
I was listening. I was reading some of his memoirs the other day. They were talking about how he was saying how he was reading, and they was telling him that they told him if they locked him up, that would frighten the other leaders, and they'll start the boycott. I mean, it was so many.
Hey man,
that thing was crazy. And I'm listening, reading his letters to his wife, and I was like, man. I thought about it, man, I was like, man, that man actually, I was like, finances, okay. That's why I was like, when you first said that, the first thing came up. That's when I realized
he had a program. It was called Operation Breadbasket. You could Google it. A lot of people don't even realize that he had a project that was called Operation Breadbasket, and within Operation Breadbasket, it was set up based on economics, right? And you having Black economics. Right? Self-sustaining economics where you don't have to ask permission to open this store or shop over here, but it was a way for you to create jobs in our community. It was a way for you to get people skills where they could go out and acquire jobs even outside of our community. Talked about savings, talked about owning our own banks. I mean, we right here in Atlanta, and do you realize right now in Atlanta, it's only one Black bank in Atlanta? It used to be two.
Yeah.
It's Capital City.
Yeah, Capital City. Yeah, he went.
Gone.
People in Charlotte bought it. Yeah.
Gone. Now you just got Citizens Trust. So if we saying now with Citizens Trust, everything came up when, people start saying, oh yeah, you need to, bank with Black banks and this, that, and other. We had an uptick. People start investing and, opening accounts over there. But now it's kind of died off again. But I'm like, the thing about banks and the way banks works, when you deposit money in the bank, that gives the banks the ability to lend
money out,
right?
Make it revenue.
Citizens Trust Bank, who they lending to? They lending to Black people, right? So I mean, it's just you can't have something that's, it's so widespread. I mean, when you start talking about economics, man, you got people in here, billionaires. You got the president, billionaire. We live in a capitalistic society. So we come into the game with cleats on and the game being played in the gym. So we gotta do better than that, man, and start teaching our kids. That's why I keep bringing up the kid factor, because even if you do everything that you're supposed to do, so you do everything, you got your life insurance, you do this, that, and other. If you leave all that stuff to your kids and you haven't exposed them to how to do this, what you think they're gonna do?
Blow it.
Man, they're gonna have so many J's. Yeah. They're gonna have so many Timbs and cars with big rims. But if you teach them, how to deal with Barron and what Barron is about, nobody is more intelligent than us when we start to study.
And we're more resourceful too.
When we start to study, right? So my whole thing is like, let's have a conversation about that. Let's talk about that. Let's not joke about credit. Let's not. Man, I'm flipping through the channels. I watched this young lady. She's a famous comedian. This lady did a whole set on Blacks and economics. I mean, she did a whole comedy set on, now we don't have no credit. Now that's why I wanted to get with a white man, because he got good credit. And I'm like, the people in this just cracking up, and I'm like, bro, when we get to the point where that ain't funny?
Yeah, right.
What's funny about that? What's funny about that?
I ain't seen nothing hilarious in that.
So when we end up when we spend our money, guess what? We paying higher interest rates because we joking about it. Yeah. We ain't talking about it. We don't want to deal with it. Credit low, we don't want to deal with it. Repo, I don't want to talk about it. Getting so stressed out that we don't even want to. We can't do nothing else because we worried about bill collector. And we don't even want to address it. The first thing that you have to do when you're in one of them type of situations, you got to address it.
You got to take it head on. But that's a lot of that has to do it because, like you said, I think a lot of our issues that we're not taught, and that's why you said something that was very, very powerful. Is that even what we leaving our kids and what we expose them to, and sometimes when you expose them to that, you got to think. You got that all your kids are in their 20s.
Yeah.
And pretty turn the corner, go start going to their late 20s. Mm-hmm. So now they're going to start branching off this talking about. They're going to start creating their own families, their own legacies. And when you start creating a family, that becomes your legacy.
Yep.
Okay. Now we think about it. Once you get to that point, there's come a point that you got to say, wait a minute, where do I expose them so they can expose my grandkids? Because I might not always be around. So that's where we have to always know that we got to start from the ground roots, and that's wherever at home. But I think that's one of the things where we are failing our kids is that we do not start it from the home and then let it branch out. Because I'm gonna tell you something. If you, case in point, all my buddies that I knew that I played ball with, we all went to college.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? Because you know why? It was instilled in us.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how mama was. She
Right.
She cracked that whip on us.
Yep.
So it was instilled in us. So once it was instilled in us, guess what? That also rubbed off on my partners, and then it rubbed off on this person. And, it was like a domino effect. We got to start looking at each other and start hoarding the information and helping one another.
That's what I'm talking about, man. So what better place to do that than in the church?
Yeah.
Like you got these people, they make jokes about the pastor. Oh, the pastor ain't this. That. Man, don't worry about the pastor. You stay focused on God. God is why you come. Mm-hmm. I ain't coming. I don't care about no. I don't even get into that. Yeah. People talking about they ain't giving because the pastor got a big Cadillac. First, it was in the 70s, 80s, it was a bigger Cadillac there. Now it's a Mercedes. Now it's a Rolls Royce. Man, I don't care what that man get. If I give him my money because it says this is what I'm supposed to do and I'm being obedient to God, I don't care what he can go out and buy. I don't care what he buy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I done did my part. I ain't got nothing to do with that. But as far as our kids and exposing them to things, man, we expose our kids to youth athletics at 4 years old. And they spending 2 hours at practice, 3 hours at a game at 4 and 5 years old. Man, they smart enough to start learning. Bro, they know what money is. You bring any 4-year-old in here right now and you pull out some money and ask them what it is. They know what money is. Now they get to the point where at 7 years old, 8 years old, they got an iPhone.
Yeah. And they work it better than you.
Right. They got an iPhone, but they don't know the iPhone got a bill.
Right.
So why we ain't teaching them about it's a bill to go with the iPhone? Right? So I mean we have to be better stewards. We got to be better stewards of that and hold people accountable and stop that.
I think sometimes too, something I'm realizing that sometimes when you listen to people talk, sometimes I really look at I don't think it's too expensive in our vocabulary a lot of times.
Say that again?
Too expensive is not in our vocabulary because sometimes, like you said, we're buying things that sometimes I think is just, do you really need it? You know what I'm saying? It's like
you tearing up the show. And we was having fun. I was having a good man.
I mean, really.
Oh man, God bless. Good night. You do the rest by yourself.
Honestly, think about it. I mean,
man, look.
And I say that to you. The reason why I say that because I was listening to Tom Joyner the other day, and he was talking about people in the mall, and he was saying how they would laugh. Well, they was making a comment. Really, it was like, hey, have y'all looked on Facebook how during this time they show a lot of fights. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking in my head like some of the toys that I know they're $100-some-odd for something that what I'm saying. And you fighting over this, but I'm like, you don't think that's too expensive? I mean, because you got to say, I mean, not saying at the time to change it to the point that that's what they need, but I'm just like, some stuff is like when you gonna show people some kind of value about something. That's
what I'm talking about with this phone thing, Rick. And I consider myself like a little old school, but even with my kids, like back then it was flip phones or whatever. But when I sit down and that's what we talk about on the show. When you say be a good steward, this is what I need you to do. If you don't have no savings or you don't have access to capital, but you looking at a cable bill, the average cable bill, $100, right? I always do this. That's what I call dirty math. Cable bill is $100, right? You're gonna have it the whole year. That's $1,200, right? You keep the cable for 10 years, that's $12,000, right? So your son, okay, you got $12,000 in cable. Okay, here go a cell phone. Now you're gonna add another $100, pretty much, probably more like $150. We're gonna keep it at $100. There's another $100, so that's $2,400. Cable, just the cable in the cell is $2,400 in a year. That's $24,000. That's $24,000 in 10 years. 10 years is not a long time. That's from a 7-year-old to a 17-year-old, right? So you just spent $24,000 in them two, but at the same time, we don't have no access to capital to start a business, right? And then we joking about not having credit. You the entree.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I'm eating off of you because I know this is what you're going to do. But sometimes, and the reason we say I'm going to tell you from experience, I'm going to tell you the truth, bro. Sometimes, a while back when my kids was younger, and my kids are on this broadcast, they'll tell you. So I ain't going to lie about it. It's been times, not when they said we were going to cut your cable off. There's been periods where I said, you know what? We sat down and I looked at that money. I was like, this $100 a month need to go for a little while. Right? And guess what we was doing? Watching that same movie over and over and over. But I purposely cut the cable off for 3 months at a time, 4 months at a time. When I call them and say, hey man, we good. They were like, what you mean? I was like, no, I don't need it. Right? But how many people gonna do that when you don't have, you gotta cut back. That's what people do when you don't have. That's logically you cut back.
You're supposed to.
You have to.
That's why I say sometimes some things that
it don't make sense.
I think about in our vocabulary, do we really know when we know to say something that's too expensive?
Man, it's too expensive.
Yeah.
We coming out for this holiday. We want to do this show going into 2018. We did everything we're gonna do for Christmas, right? Mm-hmm. But the question I have for people on my show, on your show, on Raheem's show, the question I have for you is this. The Christmas buying season started, they said the first week in November, and it runs through December 31st. Mm-hmm. During that period of time, you don't have to put it in the chat. You could call us. You could put it on here. Think about, now when you start talking about too expensive, think about how much money you spent between November and December 31st.
That whole duration, yeah.
Right? Just during that whole period of time. Think about how much you spent, and at the same time, the next number I want you to think about, how much debt did you pay off during that period?
Or you could have.
Or you could have. Instead of saying, well, I got you the $400, whatever, poo. You know, you're like, oh, yeah, I got it. You got that, but you got a goddamn credit card bill over here that still got a balance on it.
It's $5,000. Yeah.
So we got to get to the point and say, hey, you know what? Love you. Don't that mean more to you than?
I mean, that's like I went to the eye doctor today. I was just fussing when I came here. Remember I said I just bought glasses last year. They said I need some new ones.
You getting old, bro.
Man.
We just talked about that, man. When you start getting glasses every year.
Hey boy,
my granddad used to be doing it.
Mama walked out like him. Hey, Mama just when he's like not reaching. And that boy walking out look like I saw walking that thing look like Frankenstein.
Boy, you sick, man.
Like, let me touch the wall. I'm gonna give me one of them sticks to hit me.
But I mean, that's just, man, we got to do, I mean, as a people, we control, and that's why I'm like, man, look, we control not 100 billion, 300 billion. We control 1.2 trillion with a T. We control 1.2 trillion. Now, we could get 10% of that to come together. Bro, you're talking about $120 billion.
That's a lot of money, bro.
We would be dictating to Nike, everybody. Like, man, let Jordan. No, we get it at this rate.
Right. Yeah.
Walmart, we do it at this. Right. Apple, but we become the ultimate consumer. When you say too expensive, it's not too expensive for us because and that's the thing that hurts me. Even if we don't have it, even if we don't have the ability to get it, we'll find a way. We will borrow money to buy a gift for someone. I'm like, why? Because I mean, you don't need that.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
You don't need, and that's discipline, man. That's in the Bible. And what old people used to say, what? If you love somebody, if you truly love somebody, or have a love for them, you will discipline them. Mm-hmm. If you don't discipline somebody and you say you love them, you don't love them. You don't love them.
I know God don't discipline me a whole lot of time.
And your mama.
Yo, yeah. But you already know how that goes.
And your mama.
You know how that goes.
And my goddamn mama.
You know how that goes. But
so that we out here, we got access to stuff. And that's why I tell people, see, the thing about money is this. It ain't hard to manage money when you don't have money.
Right.
When you don't have money, it ain't too much you can do but try to borrow some more. That's all. But come have something change in your life when you have access to money. That's when you find out if you got discipline or not.
But you know, a lot of time, King, what happens a lot of time, I think, and what really gets me, and this is something that I'm learning. I mean, even with being in the ministry, one thing I'm learning is that we are not, we don't want to be conducive to the rules.
What?
Say
it again.
What I mean by that, see, sometimes we get to a point that we don't want to be. When I mean conducive, meaning that we just like to a point that we're like if this ain't working for us, we don't want to deal with it.
That's discipline.
Yeah, but not necessarily because we know the rules. So you know the rules, but I'm gonna say it like this.
That's discipline.
I know I got 2 pens, right?
That's discipline.
I got 2 pens. Okay, both of them right, black ink, right? But I like this because it swerves a little better.
No, you don't like discipline. That's what you don't like.
But the thing about, but you call it that. But I'm telling you that's how they look at it.
Man.
But they pluck. They do a lot of plucking. Like I'll use this. Now I'm gonna put this back.
But when it comes down, but see, here's the thing though. Just like what went down with the dude that owned, and see, this is the thing that people don't understand about economics.
Who just sold the share butter or whatever. The guy who just, the guy who owned like who owns shea butter or shea butter.
Shea butter.
Yeah, they just sold that.
I didn't know about that. I was about to talk about the owner of the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, you ain't know they sold that? Yeah, they sold that, bro.
I mean, you could do something that's not positive, right? Call somebody out their name. But if you have economics, then they play it on a whole nother level. That's what I'm saying with us, man. When you get it, I always used to use the analogy of this. It's like being incarcerated and somebody releasing you. Right? When you get to the point to get close to or being out of that, right? You don't want to go back there, right? Yeah, I don't want to go back to repos and bankruptcies, but I don't want to go back to that. Looking over my shoulder, can't sleep at night. I'm listening for somebody to come.
That's because a lot of times you got to think too. A lot of people, what they do is that they get so comfortable with the lifestyle.
Nah, man, that's discipline, bro. I keep saying that, man. It's discipline. That's what I'm saying. You got to have the ability to say, and that's in the word. What's gluttony? What is gluttony? Bro, you can eat. If I gave you all the food and you done ate everything up, why you still eating? I'm like,
greedy.
Bro, if we don't have the money and then we joking about stuff, okay, it's time for us to put somebody, we such and such transition, we time for us to have a funeral. We don't need to be joking. Ain't that funny about that?
But my whole point of this is, why do we...
And we didn't have time to do that. Not to cut you off, bro. But we didn't have 50 years, 60 years, 70 years to prepare for this. Right?
I'm prepared.
And then you don't prepare, and then you leave that for your listeners, my offspring. Yeah. Nah, bro, we just got to stop with the food. Don't buy no more goddamn foolishness. Get your stuff in order so you will have order in your family tree.
Right. That's what. But that goes back to what you were saying earlier, that we truly and honestly we need to get back to showing our offspring, and we don't. Yeah. But a lot of times, and you know what? I'm gonna put it like this here. It's like when you and I were talking a couple months back, and we were talking about China time. Remember we had that discussion about China time, and we were talking about how surprised we are to see brothers our age and maybe a little younger than us, they don't know how to tie a tie. Mm-hmm. I mean, when we were talking about that, we were like, man, we might have to go and just have a tie class. Me and you talked about that. And when we were talking about that, it made me reflect on something. Said sometimes you got people that don't have the knowledge, and by them not having the knowledge, it's very different. Instead of them saying, "Hey, I don't know,"
right?
The pride kick in, and that once again, that's one of the seven sins, right? Well, pride's one of them, right?
Right.
So if that's the case, once again, it goes back to it's not that sometimes they're not disciplined. That's why the Bible says, "My people perish for lack of knowledge."
I get that one. But I get that one, man.
You know what I'm saying? And so
everybody come from different environments. We got a caller. We got caller number 1. Man, let me.
You know how to work this thing?
I know how to work this thing, man. Oh, man. Hey! I told y'all, man, we're going to get another producer in 2018, too. Turn that mug around, man. Call back in. If you called us, we couldn't get the phone answered. Call us back. But you
understand what I'm saying to that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Sometimes I think we got to.
Yeah, but give us a call back. We had some little technical difficulties there. We had a call.
But sometimes I think that's the problem. That sometimes I think
she's showing some hearts. Yeah, call back in.
I think sometimes I think that we really, man, we ain't call nobody. But the thing about it, I love
discipline, bro. See what I'm talking about? That's what I'm talking about, bro. That's discipline. That ain't no. Oh man.
But the thing about it is that, like I said before, that you got to realize that sometimes
Rick, we ain't talking about that. And that's one of the things. See that right there, that argument. I get that.
All right.
That's the person hasn't been exposed. They ain't know no better. Right. But here's the thing. Guess what now? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna put something to you like this. Tell me one subject, and I'm gonna challenge your listeners, and I'm gonna challenge my listeners. Tell me one subject. Oh, man, you lucky you got a call. Caller, you on with the Daily Bread and Spiritual Talk. What's your name and where you calling from? This is Mel Burrow. Man, what's happening, man?
How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good, man. Let me finish this one point, and then we're going to bring you on, brother. How about that?
Okay.
But here's the thing. Here's the challenge for your listeners and for my listeners. Tell me one, and for you, and for the producer. When we say, man, people doing stuff because they don't know no better. Tell me one thing, one subject, one topic, anything that you could think of right now that I couldn't look up and find out how it works or what it is. Tell me something.
YouTube food, bro.
YouTube, man, I couldn't. Man, I tried to build a fire in my fireplace with 2 logs. A fireplace ain't been working in about 10 years. I got the chimney sweep to come out. I put them 2 logs in. The first night I put in the manufactured log. It was all beautiful. The whole family standing, oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I go out, buy some wood, put 2. The guy said, you know how to build a fire? I said, yeah, I know how to build a fire. I put 2 pieces of wood in there, and the little fire burned. The little fire went burn. What'd I do? Went straight to YouTube. Man, they showed me how to build bro, I can build a fire right now, man. Burn this building down. But so when people say that, man, that don't make sense to me no more, man. Les Brown said it best. Les Brown has a quote, man, that I always say, right? Les Brown said, this is what Les Brown said. Les Brown said, we buy what we want and we beg for what we need. We buy what we want and we beg for what we. So if somebody made something popular all of a sudden, if it was popular to get everybody a 700 credit score and the young people was talking, and they was talking about it, why do you think Jay-Z's talking about that in his 444 album now? Why is Jay-Z talking about investing in appreciation and value and buying paintings at $1 million and now they worth $8 million? I could have bought Dumbo at 25 and now it's worth $2.5 billion. Why is he talking about that? Why is Puffy trying to buy the Carolina Panthers? That's out there. But now people I ain't know about that. You knew about that. I mean, so we got to stop giving passes to people and go back to the way it used to be when we was growing up. My mom, man, didn't give no goddamn passes. Back then, it wasn't no back then it wasn't no what you said. It's like, why you looking at me like that?
Your mom ain't getting no parents, but she has books though, boy.
That's what I'm saying. So, but now we let the kids say something crazy. Oh, I hate you. What did you say? What?
Oh my
man, back. So we got a guest on. So I'm not going. But hey, man, everybody can look up whatever they need to find out on whatever topic. And then you go to the expert. So that's a great segue to bring on this brother here. We have Melvin Burrow on the line, and Mel, I want you to. Me and Melvin are good friends. We've been working together for a number of years. I talked to you all about his nonprofit organization, Upson, a few weeks ago. And I wanted to bring him onto the show today so that way he could talk about a couple of different things, because it's nothing like, in addition to YouTube, because that's the other thing YouTube can get you in trouble with, and you can burn your house down, is sometimes some things Sometimes some things YouTube can get you in trouble. So you might leave out that one ingredient and you get an explosion, right? So sometimes, So sometimes it's really, really good to have an expert that you can reach out to, so at least you can get some clarity, right? So that's the way I look at Mel. Melvin is a tax attorney. So Mel, go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience and tell them, what you do. Give them a little bit about your background, and then we'll throw a couple questions at you about what's going on in the world of taxes.
Okay, thanks for having me on tonight.
Y'all here?
I'm Noel Burrow, CPA, attorney of Noel Burrow, CPA, attorney and CPA. I specialize in Chapter 7 bankruptcies on the law side, and IRS offering compromise, entity formation, and estate planning, primarily wills and healthcare directives, and some probate. On the CPA side, I'm a tax practitioner. I prepare both personal and individual tax returns, and I've been practicing as an attorney since 1999 and as a CPA since 1984.
Okay.
Straight out of Brooklyn, New York. I've been down here in Atlanta for about 28 years. And I'm a community activist. I see myself as a community activist, and primarily my major calling, I believe, to save Black boys in particular. And I put a lot of energy in it. So I did the academic thing, but the most important thing, along the grand scheme of things, for me, is saving these Black boys.
Amen.
Oh, no doubt. And we've been partnering on that with Upson. And so go ahead and tell them, go on and do the plug for Upson as well. I talked about it a few weeks ago, but you can share that with the audience as well.
Sure. Upson Urban Pre-College Education Network was founded about 10 years ago. And I was mentoring a couple of young brothers from my church at the Shrine. And both of them were seniors, and they had already graduated, and I think we were in about July or June. And I popped the question whether or not they were going to college, and both of them said they were going. One brother said he was going to Duke, and the other one said he was going to Wake Forest. So I was taken aback. I said, man, wow, you guys must have did real well on the SAT. They were like, no, Shawty, we didn't take the SAT yet. They hadn't filled out the applications, they didn't fill out the financial aid, they were totally unprepared. So I had to scurry around and put together a checklist on what it would take. Because after I did an announcement at the church to find out how many other young brothers and sisters who were out there had no idea what a deadline was, but they know they're going to college. So I came up with a checklist from soup to nuts, from application fee waivers, financial aid, transcripts, recommendations, essays, the whole nine. And got them placed into a university. One went to a 2-year school, both of them 2-year schools. One went to a 2-year school here in Atlanta, ITC or ICT Tech. And the other one went to a 2-year school in South Carolina, Piedmont Tech, the J. Anthony Brown.
Okay.
And the one who went to ICT Tech, went down there, started playing around with the financial aid money, and wound up with a tab for like $7,000 to $8,000, and he thought that the refund money was his and he could do what he wants with it. So he's been trying to get back to school for like 7, 8 years because he's been stuck. So fast forward, he's working at Kroger. He got a baby mama, 2 kids. So basically, he's been shut down. The other brother, he was a lot more focused. He was a football player. He tore his ACL, which turned out to be a blessing in disguise because he was forced to sit and do the work that was required to get out of that 2-year college. He got out of the 2-year college, transferred to Clemson, and last May just graduated out of Clemson.
Okay.
So we use that as our little testimony. You can get with this, you can get with that. And since then, we put together a program, a template throughout the academic season, academic year. We meet roughly twice a month for 2 hours at the Serenity Club. We used to meet at the Shrine. The Serenity Club is directly across the street from the Drive-In Theater on Moreland Avenue, 1933 Moreland Avenue. And we go over some aspect of getting into college and staying into college and finishing. So we have essay workshops, essay writing workshops, financial aid workshops, math, SAT prep, study skills, time management, lecture and note taking, and you do the financial aid workshop.
Which is the best segment by far.
Exactly. And then we have a college tour, and all this is free. It's a 501c3 nonprofit. Wow. You just got to get there. And if you have a senior, the senior is that you get a senior to attend at least 8 workshops, 8 or 9 workshops. And I think it's total about 15. If they can show up to 10 workshops, seniors, we give them like at least $300 to $500 book scholarship. And the last workshop is I consider the best workshop. The one that I prepare is the do's and don'ts of first year college. And the format of that workshop is powerful. That's the one that we have the most attendance, aside from yours. Myself and my college roommate, we do a PowerPoint presentation on, where to buy books, don't buy new books, hook up with upperclassmen, freshmen don't hang up with freshmen. So we give little nuggets and tips, where to sit in the class, sit in the critical care unit where most of the A's and B's in the first 3 to 5 rows. Further you get away from the professor, the lower your grade's gonna be. So we drop all these little nuggets, how to take lecture notes. So it's really like the culmination of the entire year, 2 years, and a 2-hour session, that last session. So we do the first hour with all that, how to register for class and all that type of stuff, and how to select the professor. Then the second half of that workshop, we turn it over to students who've already been through our program, who's in college. And the high school students, all the adults leave. We separate the brothers in one room, sisters in the other room, and all the parents and the adults leave. And we have the incoming high school students to prepare and write 3 or 4 anonymous questions and have a panel discussion with our college students. And they answer the questions. And that's where they talk about the drugs, the sex, the partying, and all the chaos, social aspects of college life, pledges, and things of that nature. And they come out like a deer in headlights. So I'm really proud of that workshop because I get cards, and it's amazing that they even mindful of that. They send me cards thanking me. Man, I'm glad you reached that. You was right about that. You was definitely right about that. Man, I can't believe it. You gave us everything we needed. So we gave them a package to be successful, not just the academic piece, but a lot of them were just not mature enough to go to college. I'm thinking
exactly.
Most of these students need to wait a year, go when you're 19 or something, because they're so immature and so entitled. You know what I mean? They don't really know how to function in that kind of environment. And consequently, we find that a lot of students wind up coming back home. And seeing college is not for them. Or either they need to start in a 2-year school and learn how to become a student. So we try to teach the science of being a student in a college environment. And recycle that. All we ask is they help another brother or help another sister when the time comes. Like, they're not that special. The other thing that I would like to mention is that we have a college tour. Every year, we have an annual college tour. We pick a school and we charter a bus. And last year was Alabama State. We've been to Tuskegee. We've been to Savannah State. We've been to West Georgia. And the school have their open house and put on their little performance. And a lot of kids have never been in that environment and never experienced it.
Right.
And it's a mind-blowing experience for most of them. And I know we're here to talk about finances, but like I said, it's my passion. But
I see, man. You
Let me tell you a story about this one brother, man. This brother's so good, but you got, we 6 o'clock in the morning, because we got a hike. So we check it in the studio. Young brother gets on the bus, his pants are sagging, his hair is twisted. His dad says, and he don't want to get on the bus. He really don't want to participate. Man, this is your dream. You're going to be a rapper. This kid's going to be a rapper, right? He's a senior. And I mean, man, this is your dream. You got me out here. I ain't trying to be out here with these fools and all this, right? Trying to be a thug. And his father said, don't pay attention to none of that. He said, this kid got an 1850 on the SAT. And he wants his friends, he wants his friends to know his grades, because he got high grades. But meanwhile, he's trying to act like a thug, right?
Right.
So he gets on the bus, he's moaning and whining. He's like, man, I ain't even trying to do all this. You never hit these lanes, that. So we get to Tuskegee. I think it was 4 years ago. We was at Tuskegee, and he sees all these sisters on the campus. And so he was faced with a dilemma. He's going to see the thug game, or he's going to participate in this process.
13-1.
So one of the sisters,
Yeah.
and then the ratio was crazy. The ratio was like 13-1, right?
Yeah.
Sisters to brothers.
Yes, Lord.
So after about a couple of hours, they had a big bed that, all kinds of tables, school of business, school of science, and all that type of stuff. His sister came up to him, one of the students said, you must get high school, you pull your pants up. And he's like, yo, I'm from the A, you don't talk to me any kind of way, right? He said, you better pull your pants up and grow up. It's just distance in front of everybody. In about 30, 45 minutes, man, his pants slowly started coming up, right? It was like a transformation. And by the time we were about to get back on the bus, because he wanted us to bring us to the process, because he was sticking out like a sore thumb. By the time we got back on the bus, this brother you talk about Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. And he was came to the borough. I really need your help with my recommendations and my essays. I got to get this. I want to go to this school right here. This school. That brother right now is a junior. Just teaching.
Amen.
Hey.
I love to tell that story.
But hey, the thing about it is, was a couple of things in that, and one was this is exactly what we were talking about before you came onto the show, as far as exposure, people knowing, and then being able to see the environment or be in the environment, because you doing your part. Your part is just to get them into the environment, but once they get into the environment, then they have a certain amount of exposure. The reason I wanted to bring you on tonight is I wanted you to, because we talk about different things on my show, which is the Daily Bread Radio Show. But then tonight we're doing a combined show. I have my brother here, Minister Ricky Neal, and his show is Spiritual Talk. So we talk about all kinds of topics. So I wanted to bring you on as, the resident expert from a tax standpoint to really just kind of give us some tidbits about 2018 from a tax standpoint. We got, we're starting to hear all these different things about this new tax law that's coming about, people rushing out trying to pay, the property taxes before the 31st. And but on our shows, we also talk about Black empowerment. So things that would be beneficial just from owning a business or starting a business or creating a business and things of that nature. So wanted to kind of, allow you some time to give us some insight from your professional standpoint, how taxes play into all of those things.
All right, well, Well, before I leave the Upton, I just want to let everybody know if you want some more information on Upton, you got a high school student that's planning on going to college. You can go to upton.org to get some more information. upten.org and get some additional information, get the schedule, the calendar, take the next workshop. The end of January, the writing workshop. But as far as the taxes are concerned, nobody really knows, man. It's really foggy. They threw this together. It's really a sham. They're gutting the middle class. They're gonna give them a few nuggets.
Wait a minute. Time out, Mel. Can you rewind this? Because we just talked about that, about the middle class being the entree. So when you say glutton the middle class, can you elaborate on that a little bit for us so our listening audience will understand what's going into this process?
70 to 80% of the budget, the United States budget, which is a $3 trillion budget, it's about to go up to a $4.5 trillion budget because of this tax bill, is financed on the shoulders of the middle class.
Wow.
So that's people who make from $35,000 a year to $200,000 a year. That's where the most bang from your buck as far as the government is concerned, where the money is coming from. That's population.
35,000 to 200,000.
Roughly 250 to 30,000, 40, 50,000. That range. That's where most people make. Most wage earners are making that amount, and that's where the bulk of the taxes are coming from. In order to finance the defense, welfare, medical, you gotta have, first of all, and I don't think a lot of people realize that the IRS started in 1918, the beginning of the First World War, right? To finance the war. And it was supposed to be just as a temporary measure. That's why it turns out to be every year they have to vote on a budget to finance the next year by statute. It's not in the Constitution. Some people saying, the taxes ain't constitutional, and we should have to pay taxes and all that. But they wrote into the law a statute, which means every year the budget has to be approved. And it started out just to finance the military. Then we need education. Then we need roads. Then we need fire, security, and on and on and on. Social security and all that type of stuff. So, like I said, 70 to 80% of the budget now is coming from middle class. And they got this voodoo economic thing saying that if you get so fat and greedy, eventually you'll send the crumbs down on the lower level. They call that trickle down economics.
Right.
Reagan tried that, and that didn't work. And that's what they anticipate is supposed to happen with this, because they cut those tax rates from 31% or 39% down to 21%. And I'm like, how are you going to cut the corporate tax rate? The corporate tax rate.
Right.
How are you going to cut the corporate tax rate that much? How are you going to supplement that? There's two things that this orange guy is anticipating that is not going to happen. It's a fact. One, that he's anticipating that the foreign countries, the companies that left the United States, the United States companies that have transferred their operations to foreign countries are going to come back here. Now that the rates are going to be lower, and that's not going to happen. Why would you come back here where there's unions, medical, there's vacation, sick pay? You got to do all these regulations over here. They're not coming back over here. So he thinks that because the rate is going down, more companies are going to come back to the United States.
Right.
I doubt that's going to happen at all.
Hey, Brother Mel, Brother Mel, I got a question for you. I didn't mean to cut you off, Brother Mel. This is Minister Neal from Spiritual Talk. I got a question for you. I heard you say that the crumb's going to trickle down. And that's a very, very powerful statement. I think as the listeners are here, hearing you speak, can you really explain to them what's really going to happen with that, seeing that how is it going to affect even, I'm looking at from the school systems and from the statewide, how would that affect from the state even to all the way down to, we can even pay for it to the local government. And I'm saying it because I think that what's happening is that I think that even as we vote locally, that this is going to affect us as well. So can you kind of elaborate on that for me too, brother?
Yeah, well, I know I don't sound like the CPA.
Hey man, you brought it up. I wasn't gonna say that, man. You were sounding like thirsty. I know they thought this was thirsty from Empire, but no. Bro, hey, I'm gonna need you to sound a little bit more. I need a little bit more hostel in there, man. You really sounded like thirsty, man. So I want them to know that you the CPA, man.
That's why my clients appreciate me. The lady and break it down to them, not to be over and on top of it.
Exactly. That's why I brought you on. Hey, that's why I brought you on.
Right, you gotta be bilingual. So the trickle down economics basically means there'll be such a surplus because the profits are so great. Mm-hmm. They're gonna start giving money and passing money down to the local government. Mm-hmm. And in turn, people at the end will receive benefits from these gigantic profits. But the last time I looked, the United States was a capitalist country. Mm-hmm. And it's all about the bottom line and more profits, and they cut and cut and cut.
Right.
That's where you got people getting laid off jobs, and everybody talking about people got laid off. What about the people who survived the cut, and now they're doing 3 or 4 different people's jobs, and their salaries the same? You know what I mean?
Right.
So you have companies merging, you got duplication of jobs. You got to get rid of that position. You know what I mean? That company already has that, so now you're going to do both company jobs. It's really crazy. Economically, and that was an economic minus. But to answer your question, for instance, well, let me finish that one point, then I'll come back to that. Mm-hmm. So the first half is that the reason they believe they can cut the corporate tax rate significantly like that is because they think these American countries that's doing business who set up satellites in foreign countries like Malaysia, Mexico, China, they're going to want to come back to the United States. That's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. So that's one piece. The other piece is they're going to cut social programs.
Right.
How are you going to come up with this $1.5 trillion? How are you going to balance the budget? Where's the money? Mm-hmm. You take the money out, so they're thinking the profits are supposed to come, but no, they're going to start cutting social programs. Mm-hmm. And some people call them entitlements. I was at a continuing education class last week, 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about estate planning and Social Security and protecting Medicaid, and when elderly, folks get at a certain age, and you have a parent or a grandparent, and they may have to be placed into a facility, assisted living, or something like that. Even if at first we were talking about trust and putting money away and keeping it away from creditors, and then it became, well, his mama came up with this scenario where mama had $4 million. We want to take, in order for her to qualify to let Medicaid pay for her assisted living, you have to move all her assets out of her name for 5 years. It's a 5-year look-back period. So you set up a trust, an irrevocable trust, and then and the creditors, even though she owes money, they can't attack the trust because it's irrevocable, right? So the conversation goes from that to Medicaid, right? And one of the guys says, you can tell he was right wing. And he says, well, the problem with Medicaid is people, we got that 10%, 15% of the population that they can't take care of themselves, they're abusing the system, and they depending on entitlement, and you know where he was going with this, his language, right? Mm-hmm. And then the professor that was teaching the class, she said, the definition of entitlements is you put something in the system for a long period of time, now you're entitled to get something out. That's Social Security, right? She's like, exactly. And he sat there, and you could tell he was sort of stunned, but he kept pushing the political agenda, the right wing. Yeah, but we got a lot of fraud and waste, and there's people that don't deserve it, and they're lazy, and they get the benefit. And then I tried to mind my business, right? I'm the only brother in there. I tried to mind my business, and I just raised my hand. I said, so we just should have talked about Mama had $4 million, and we're gonna put it in the trust. And so Medicaid can pay for us. Just said, look, if Mama has $4 million in the trust, why Mama can't pay for her own medical care? And is the trust considered an entitlement? You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You got it from both ends. You got people with money going into Medicaid. Then you got people without money who need Medicaid. You know what I mean? And you don't see that. No, that's different. I'm trying to set Mama $4 million for the credit.
Exactly.
I said, Mama ran up the debt. Let Mama pay the debt. What you talking about?
Hey.
You know? But anyway, I'm sorry. I got off track. But there's examples on this particular tax bill, and because everything was rushed and thrown together, there's a lot of errors. It's probably going to be like a 90-day period where they're going to have to make some corrections and some adjustments. And the IRS has to develop regulations. The process is Congress, the state, the Senate, and Congress come up with a bill. The president signs the bill, and now it's tax related. So the IRS has to come up with regulations. So how do you do this? And this IRS is going to find all kinds of bugs. You can't do this. This is in contradiction to this. You just said this, and now over here you're saying this. And so all of that stuff is going to have to be cleared out and weeded out before, y'all know the bill is passed. There's a lot of bugs and adjustments, bugs in the bill in its current state. And there's going to have to be some significant adjustments made in order to be clear. So all the CPAs, if anybody tell you they know everything within the bill, they lie. They don't care who they are. There's some general stuff that we know is going to happen.
Right.
But we don't know how it's going to pan out.
Right.
But a lot of it's ugly, man. I mean.
So when we filed in 2018, is any of that going to be enforceable, or what? I mean, how do we prepare? Is it going to still be based on 2017?
Right. 2017 is still 2017.
Okay.
So, but what's about to be enforced is all these laws which apply as of 2018.
Oh,
and what's probably going to happen by the time everybody realizes that there's truth and hoodwinked and bamboozled, November, next election, the House and the Senate is going to be taken over by the Democrats. If this guy is still in office, he's going to be a lame duck. He ain't going to be able to get nothing done. Anything done at all. And then there's going to have to be some kind of negotiation because the law's going to shift back because they're harming a lot of people, man. They're talking about tuition tax credit. There's a tuition tax credit.
Yeah.
The lifetime learning credit.
Right.
I think that's gone. I think that was like $1,000 or $1,500.
Yeah.
Student loan interest. There's certain student loan interest, that's gone. Now, they doubled the standard deduction, but they've gotten rid of a lot of because what they want to do is get rid of the itemized deduction.
Right, that was the part that I was reading where they were saying they were getting rid of like personal deductions. They were going to double the standard deduction, but I mean,
right, and no exemptions.
Right, that's what I'm saying. No personal exemptions.
Right. So there's a form called 2106, which is an unreimbursed employee expense, right?
Right.
Salesmen use that. Teachers use that. When you're coming out of pocket on your job, for your job, and your employer is not reimbursing you, you have a right to write that off on your tax, subject to a 2% limitation on Schedule A, right?
Right.
And it's trying to get you taxed. But everybody, all of those salespeople travel, when your miles haven't been reimbursed, you can write that off. They get rid of the whole form. That's crazy. Keep this, keep this going. Buy paper and supplies all throughout the year.
Right.
They're custom, and guess who those people are? That's that middle class we're talking about. That's $50,000 to $250,000, $30,000 to $200,000. Those are the ones going to be affected. You're not being able to write it off, and you still selling out the expense. So how much of a break are you really getting?
Whoa. Wow. So in 18, we really need to
save.
Hey, we gotta do some praying, but at the same time, how do we become more savvy with being able to make it work? Because the law is the law, right? So what we find and talk about a lot of times on the show is like, with the president. The president said, "Well, I didn't pay no tax because the way that the tax law is written, I just followed the law," right? So what we're trying to figure out is what would be the best way for us to prepare ourselves going forward in the future, because whether we want to deal with it or not, it's still the law.
Right.
Well, first of all, we don't know he took advantage of what he did because nobody sees his tax return, which turns out to be the greatest hoodwink heist. This is the greatest heist in the history of America. You got a guy in the office that,
he ain't filed no taxes.
Get out of here, man.
Yeah, America.
I can't get a mortgage, but I can.
Yes. I don't feel about political soapbox, but it just blows my mind. It's just like a long, bad dream. But because it's oversimplifying and they're increasing the items, the standard deduction, a lot of people won't have the flexibility to manipulate and, like he did, his tax return.
Right.
Because the itemized deduction is
going to be gone.
double. The standard deduction.
The standard deduction is double, but all of the
itemized deduction.
Right.
They put the limit on state and local tax. So
that's what I was getting at. That's what I was waiting on you to get to that, because I wanted to know how they was going to trickle down to the people. Really the actual American people of local states and local governments, because what happens a lot of times is that you got a lot of people who write off their gas mileage and
that's what he was talking about.
Right, exactly. That's what I wanted the people to really hear, because I don't know if they really got it.
Right. That's why I'm saying we want to bring on an expert, because my whole thing is this is going on and this is going to be law, right? So if we don't take the time to get with a CPA, get with an accountant, and not be filing, and I don't have nothing against people who file H&R Block or TurboTax, whatever. I get that. But at the same time, what we was talking about earlier, when we don't know, spend that little extra, whatever, $100, $150, $200, whatever it is, right? To get educated on not just you filing this year, but how you need to plan and strategize for next year. Right. It ain't, because we need to be past trying to get a refund. Like, we past that. Like, we don't want no refund. You don't want no refund. You want to be spending your money and paying the least amount of taxes as possible. Right. You want to get into not evasion. You want what you work for. Right. You want your money back. Right.
That's basically what you said. You want to keep that little bit.
But what they're trying to do, especially by doubling the standard deduction, is take away the flexibility.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where you can go above and beyond. They put a ceiling on the amount of property tax you can write off to $10,000, right?
Right.
But it's not just property tax. It's state and local tax. People think it's just property tax. There's state and local property tax.
That's what I was saying.
Like Georgia, on your W-2, you have state withholding. That's the deduction used to be a deduction on your Schedule A.
Right.
That's the part that's in the category with taxes, the law that goes along with your ad valorem tax, your withholding tax, your property tax. But now the max is $10,000.
That's what I'm looking for. I think that's what they need to hear.
And you know what Cuomo, the governor of New York, said? And this is really profound if you think about it. Because basically, this guy is creating a civil war.
Yeah.
Because that's significant.
In the blue states.
The blue states with those high taxes. New York.
Right. California.
Massachusetts, California, Chicago. You know what I mean? They have high taxes. DC. But in the swing states, the red states, we have very low property tax.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So nobody really pays attention to it. It's like, well, yeah, just put it on there so I can write this off. But, and you know, from being up north, and I know in Brooklyn, there's a crack house across the street in the hood. The property tax is probably $8,500 a year. Right. And to get $8,500 property tax down here, you gotta be over there where the place is buried.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or Buckhead.
Right.
If to have a house or mortgage that size. So it wound up being a war between the North and the South again. The West and the East.
Right.
The Southern states, the Confederates versus everybody else.
Okay.
You know, but that's amazing though. And I think a lot of people don't realize, and because it's all just happened in the last 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Just real pushed it together like boom, boom, boom. And that's my whole thing is like, you know, we need to make sure that we educating ourselves and putting that information out there. Like, okay, that's a move that they made with the government and this law. So now we got to figure out what's our counter move, right? What's our counter move? You know, so, you know, on our shows, we always encourage, you know, business ownership and, you know, entrepreneurship, and hopefully, you know, you still be able to, with that favor that's being given to corporate, you know, that S Corp, that C Corp, that kind of stuff. We need to, you know, make sure that we get educated.
Check this out.
Don't say nothing crazy, man, because you.
Check this out. Everybody heard of the estate tax, right?
Right.
So basically, I do estate planning. You don't have to pay the estate tax rate is 55% on the assets. So it's not income. Whatever you own, you add up how much the house is worth, the car is worth, the retirement, you add all that up. And that's what they do, that's what they apply the percentage to. But you have to, right now, you have to have at least $5.4 million. Anything in excess of $5.4 million gets taxed. So if you got less than $5.4 million, it's no big deal, right? It hardly ever applies. So only the borrowers, the real borrowers, wind up paying the estate tax.
Right.
They double the exemption. Now, in order for you to pay your estate tax, there has to be at least $11 million in assets. You hear what I just said? They taking care of them.
Yeah.
They are taking care of them.
That's major. So you get to keep all of that before it even. If you saying you got to be, if the threshold is 11 million before it even comes into effect, I mean everything under 11 million, you ain't even gonna pay no estate tax on it.
Right.
So we need to get the movement in.
Yeah, we need to get that million.
Then it went to 5 million. 11 million.
Come on, man.
They pumping it up.
Did y'all hear what? Man, we need. Hey, man, we're gonna have to bring you back on, man. I know you got to go, and we got a couple more things we want to do in our segment, man. We appreciate you joining us. I'm gonna look for some dates in January, man, and have you come back on. Is that okay?
Yeah. Well, let me get folks my information.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt.
You can, my website is melburrowlaw.com. www.nealburrowlaw.com. And you got the CPA side, the law side, and you got all the other stuff I do, Black Boys. We got Upton, we got the Ready Club, which is a community-based organization. And we have seminars and workshops throughout the year. It's the summer months. We have a financial debt relief seminar. We have estate planning workshop, health and wellness fair, disability workshop. So, and all this is free, 501c3. So I'm just trying to via channel. That's the SerenityClub.org up to college prep, Urban Street College Education University. And I'm a part of Let Us Make Man. I'm here now. We're going to have our Thursday night session. And we specialize in trying to save Black boys. And then there's the Male Action Coalition mentoring program. So thanks for having me, man.
No,
and
thanks for coming.
Like I said, I wish I could give you a lot more specific.
No, but stay tuned, man. Hey, you stay close to it, man, and you come back on and just give us an update, because as things start to pan out, you still an expert. I mean, none of us are CPAs, you know. So I just don't want us to be the entree. That's what we were talking about earlier. I don't want to be the duck, the Peking duck. All right?
Yeah, man.
I want to be able to take some offensive moves. So you know how I think. So I'm trying to make mine too convoluted for them. You can figure it out. They like, man, go.
Make it too salty. Hey, you gotta make it too salty, bro.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, man. You have a good evening, brother.
Hey, Brother Neal.
You too, my brother.
Brother Neal, I just want to say, man, much salute to you, brother. This is Minister Neal here once again, man. Happy New Year's to you. And thank you again for coming on the show.
Appreciate it. If anybody got any questions, let me just leave the number 44. The office number is 44875-5626.
Say it again.
404-875-5626.
5626. Okay, I'll put that in our chat window.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right, brother. Have a good evening.
Salute to you.
All right. Peace. Black power.
All right. So we see, that's the thing, man. You gotta make sure that we, like what we talking about before he came on, when we said we haven't been exposed and we don't know and this, that, and other. Man, one thing I learned a long time ago, and we was joking about it, but this guy here and a couple other people that I met, I used to be the king of, like, my partner was an accountant, not Melvin. I had another partner he was a financial guru, but he was an accountant. And I used to give him my tax, let him do my side. Man, how much? $75, $100, whatever, right? So I'm trying to get a refund. And then as I start reading more books, it was saying that you're really not trying to get a refund, because a refund is really just you getting your money back, right? So they done held your money all year. Now you getting a refund, and now we get excited about that. So they were like, no, what you need to be doing is figuring out strategies where you get to keep more of your money and pay less tax on it. Now, in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, in the book, he talks about that. Now, that's against the law. Tax evasion is against the law. That's where you just don't pay tax. You made $1 million and you ain't pay no tax. No Fed, no state. That's tax evasion. That's a law. That's where you go to jail, right? That's a Wesley Snipes type deal or some other entertainers. People that have gone to jail for that. Avoidance, tax avoidance is not illegal. And tax avoidance is, that's when you just looking at everything and saying, okay, how do I need to play this out and strategize? And what the wealthy are doing is they don't file their taxes at the end of the year or during tax season and say that's it. They're reaching out to people like Melvin throughout the year and saying, hey, what do I need to do with this? Hey, I just came into some more money. What do I need to do with that? How's that going to make my tax return look if I do this? Investing. Yeah, and then that way, and even when you pay Melvin, right, or you pay whatever CPA or attorney or a lawyer that you have, if you have a business, you don't write it off anyway. Right. So that's what, and that's in the Bible. And I'm not the Bible scholar, but it does say you should seek out what? Wise counsel. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it?
That's what I say.
Okay. That's why I got the minister on. So you can fact check it for me right here. But yeah, that's what's up. And the number to the show is 678-381-1973. Y'all give us a call.
Hey, Ken, if you can, man, call in, man. I want to talk about the company a little bit.
There you go. Hey,
you gotta call in, bro. We got about 10 minutes.
Hey, and while we waiting on, I got to do the book of the week. This is the book of the week, and I'm gonna show this to your listeners too. This is the book of the week, and every week on my show I have a book of the week, and I felt like this one was the most appropriate book going into 2018. It's called The Power of Habit. I featured this book a couple of weeks ago. It's by the gentleman's name is Charles Duhigg. The reason this book is so powerful is this. A lot of the people that have prominent businesses in the U.S. are using this book as a foundational reading for their businesses. Mm. And what I mean by that is this book talks about how you can take certain steps to create not new habits, but in create new habits, you can create new pathways in your brain, right? Listen to what I'm saying to you. New pathways in your mind that's going to help you do some of the things that you want to do, because we was talking about earlier about going to the gym versus lifting a lot of weights. This book talks to you about how you can set certain cues, and it's a system that's in place. Like when you hit a cue or you set the cue up in a certain way, this is what your response to the cue is going to be. And this is the exact same thing that people do when they do advertising, when they pass things like this bill and they try to say, hey, and make it a law, hey, this is going to help you out because we know y'all need more money. Right. But on the backside, they're like taking away all the entitlements, right? Yeah. And backbiting. But this book, this is what they read. So if this is what they're reading, I'm saying, okay, if this is what you all read, I need to get in there and read it too. So, and like we always talk about on the show, the average millionaire reads 5 books a month. 5 books a month. The average adult in the U.S. reads 1 book a year. Mm-hmm. So the question I have for all of my listeners and for yours is, how many books are you going to read in 2018? Mm-hmm. Right? Because like Benjamin Franklin said, no man will live long enough to learn everything that they need to know to be successful. So if you already know somebody that's doing something, read the book. Read the book. You know, cut off the TV, read the book, and take time out to study the book. So anybody want to give us a call, 678-381-1973. Kenny, we waiting on you to give us a call. Anybody else that want to give us a call, give us a shout out. Tell us one of the things that you're going to be doing in 2018. Let us know if you're enjoying the show or not. That's enough. Boy, that's enough. Boy, I tell you, boy. Boy, what kind of minister? Boy, you done got the biology minister. I didn't know y'all had a different group with y'all. Well, we got goddamn. Like, man, what kind of minister? What kind of minister? Oh, okay. All right. Let me stay in my lane. What is it? 776. Northside Chevy Rider minister. All right, I'm with you. I ain't gonna judge you. I know only God can judge you. I ain't gonna judge you. I'm not judging you. Go ahead on, minister.
Boy, you something, boy. You something.
Go ahead on, minister. I ain't gonna judge. I ain't gonna judge you.
Oh my God.
Who am I to judge?
Yeah, right.
Look at you. I ain't gonna judge you. Go ahead on there, minister. Go ahead on, minister.
Oh my God. Oh man.
That's what's up, man. But you crazy. I'm not fooling with you.
Oh
man.
My goodness.
You got 10 minutes, but definitely pick that book up. That's a powerful book. It's The Power of Habit.
Hey, you ain't got to worry, because I'm gonna put on Never Would Have Made It. We're gonna see.
Oh man.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see Cleopas, boy.
Man, don't even start.
Cleopas get on here, boy. We're gonna get it off and say, go ahead.
Don't start.
Hey, I'm gonna be like Maceo.
Hey man, don't. Hey.
I'm gonna get the jacket.
Boy, I can't wait for 2018, because I think it's going to be a phenomenal year. And I want to thank, since we're on together, I want to thank you for exposing me to this platform, because it was a year ago, pretty much this month, where me and you was talking and you said, hey, this is what I'm doing. You may want to look into it. And I was like, nah, I'm not no minister. I ain't no talk show. I ain't none of that. But now, it's going on a year, and one of the things that I'm constantly learning. So I love your show. I love the fact that God put you in a position to turn me on to, because I wouldn't have even thought about doing something like this. So definitely want to thank you for, expose me to it, so that way I can let my little light shine and turn some people on and some different things. And one of the things that over the last year, what it has taught me is this: you don't have to be the top person in order to have something valuable to share with a listening audience. You only have to be one step ahead of the next person in order to teach them something. Now, I look at a lot of different documentaries. I'm looking at a documentary recently where they were talking. A lot of people know about Frank Lucas from American Gangster, right? But I looked at a documentary recently on, it was on this weekend or whatever, and what made the documentary deep was this. Everybody heard of Frank Lucas from American Gangster and how, prominent he was as far as like a drug kingpin, very smart, had this network, was making $1 million a day, right? But it was a guy that was bigger than him.
Yeah, Nicky Barnes.
No, bigger than him.
Really?
This was the guy that was supplying Frank Lucas and Nicky Barnes. And one of the dudes was on the documentary, said like what you said, the producer, he was like, oh yeah, Nicky. He said, who? He said, who? The dude looked at him like he was about to get, he said, who? Nicky, who? He said, nah, man. I'm talking about the man that supplied the drugs to Frank Lucas and Nicky Barnes.
That was his brother-in-law, wasn't it?
No, brother named Frank Matthews.
Yeah,
Google the documentary of Frank Matthews, and this guy was so big. Frank Lucas was primarily in the Northeast, primarily in New York, right? Nicky Barnes was primarily in New York.
Yeah, section New York, right?
This dude here was national.
Really?
He had a national network where he was distributing heroin throughout
the whole entire country.
The entire country.
Wow. That's deep.
And they were talking to different people that were big drug kingpins in their own right, in their own city. Baltimore, Atlanta, New Jersey. They were talking to them and they were like, man, wasn't nobody like him. No, it wasn't nobody like him. He was doing it. But I'm saying all that to say is this. In life, you're going to have levels. So, in our world, we may not be the archbishop, right? But you could be the understudy of the understudy of the understudy, but you still have a certain amount of information that the masses may not have. So it just really gave me an additional confirmation that we're on the right path. We helping some people. The fact that people would take time out their day to log in and you see people's faces and their names, and even the people that go back and I know you get the feedback because I get it. People say, oh, I didn't catch the show on Thursday, but I went back and listened to the replay. Right?
I get a lot of sharing.
You get a lot of sharing, right? And a lot of people say, man, that was right on point. Yeah. But again, this is a platform. So we got to use this platform to say, a year from now, it ain't gonna tell them what we can be doing.
Where we'll be.
Where we'll be.
Because you never know. This platform, and I tell people all the time, this is something that is not led by me, it's led by God.
Right.
And when it's led by him, as long as I continue to let him navigate,
right, then you'll be on purpose.
Exactly, I'm gonna be on point whatever his will is.
Right.
And that's the key to this. See, I don't deviate from who I am. That's why I don't get offended when people call me Ricky because that's my name.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You call me Ricky all day long because everybody on from Facebooks and everywhere know me as Ricky.
Right.
So I'm not offended. I don't be like, oh, you got to call me this or that's not my type of person. This guy, man. This guy.
This is my guy, brother. This my little. Hey, go ahead, man. No, you're being serious, man. I was tearing up. I'm sorry. I'm trying to stop him crying.
Man, whatever.
I'm trying to stop him crying, man. If I start looking away, you ever see me do this and put that one finger there?
I'm going to tell y'all this.
That's when I'm about to start crying, man.
He might be walking Thompson when he sit down. Boy, you should stay with him around like Deacon Calhoun.
That's what's up.
But now, honestly, I love this dude, man. That's it. And we don't came a long way, man. I must say.
What?
It's a pleasure and it is a joy to have him beside me right now because it's an honor. Because a lot of times, man, brother. I don't care what I ask him, man. Brother be right there on top, man. He be right there, and when he be suited booting, he be louder than me. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because I always tell this two guys, Jackson do it's that one and it's this one.
You know, I'm the oldest. I can't be got there. Can't let you outshine me, minister. Reverend.
Hey, you know,
A rib.
Hey, I gotta tell the story. That joke came to me. I came out of the pulpit one time, right? I ain't lying to you. I said, boy, you better jump around them shiny shoes on. That man said, you preach. He said, you preach. You had them shiny shoes on.
Boy, you kill him, though. I look down there. Rick was so goddamn clean. Boy, them shiny shoes were working. I was like, God damn, man. Deacon. I was about to call you Deacon because I seen them shoes. When I seen them shoes, I was like, no, he ain't no deacon. That's a minister.
I'll preach my heart out, bro.
Boy, I was right there.
Hey, I'm talking about I walked the aisle and everything, man. I'm walking the aisle and everything.
She was vicious,
bro. I would walk the aisle and everything. I had 3 come full. I'm talking my chest was out here, but I'm looking like a silverback, but my chest was so big. I just remember like, boy, you did it, boy. They were shiny shoes on. I said, this joke. I said, he took it all the way up from me up. Boy, I went straight down. I looked up, boy, I said, Lord have mercy.
Well, I love you, boy. That's why I was there. You ain't got to do but call. Say, hey, I'm going to be over here preaching. I'm like, I'm there. Where we at the mission? Okay, I'm there. Wherever we at, I'm there.
I was telling them, I said, that was the most humblest experience I had when I started preaching that mission.
Hey, man.
That was the humblest experience for me. Woo. That thing was so deep that night, man. I had about 4 or 5 come to Christ that night, man.
Man, that thing was woo.
Yeah, that thing was deep, man.
It was hot. It was hot.
I mean, like I said, he been when I first started.
Oh, heck yeah.
I'm
gonna be there to the end.
When I first started over there, man.
So you get that big old, I'll get you up to find me a
Oh yeah, I'm gonna put
position.
You can find directly.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be over no choir or nothing.
No, we ain't gonna do that. Ooh, I heard that. I'm like, what? Hey, Bobby, I be wanting to put that white sheet on the wall. I'm like, he'll fly out. I'm like, woo! I be looking at it like, he fall out.
I'm not messing with y'all.
But once again, man, I want to appreciate you, man.
Man, we had an awesome show, man. I can't believe we at the top.
And to all your listeners.
Hey, man, we appreciate y'all listening too.
And to your my listeners already know how I do. I'm saying to your listeners, I just want to say, oh, there you go. I want to say thank you and Happy New Year. And to my listeners, hey, I can't say but thank you. And it's been a good year. Hey, 2018 is going to be even better. God bless you. And have a wonderful and prosperous 2018. Thank you, and I love you.
Happy New Year, fam.
That's it.
God killed it.